shooting we could do during the stream.
We
We're
almost
here.
had some
I have
issues.
speaking of troubleshooting, I have big news. So I guess like while I still have my slave job, my W-2 job, even if you're bad, even if I'm bad at my job, I guess if I sell something, the right thing here and there, they have this like rewards program where they give you like rewards points and you can cash them in through like this store that the company has where you can like cash them in for stuff.
Yep.
So I went and looked and I had like a bunch of them banked up because I just wasn't paying attention to them. I just had all these rewards points banked up. So it's like, even though I've been like getting written up and they're telling me I suck at my job, I still have like all these rewards points.
Nice.
So I was able to order, using that, all new podcast equipment.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the mail. I got a microphone.
Loophole. What kind of mic did you get?
It was like an Audio Technica cardioid microphone.
Okay. Nice.
So it's like as close as I could get to like a Shure mic.
Yep.
I got a mixer.
Nice. Dalton on the 2 1s and 2s.
Yeah, so I can finally use the soundboard that Lily Abernathy sent me.
Wait.
And then I got a yes, thank you. Got a jib arm. Got some new headsets.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got like $600-700 worth of equipment.
Yep.
That I got for free just because I have like stacked up all these whatever the that's what dude.
It's really a cheat code when you think about it. Just spend half your life,
work
14 hours a day
job for like a year and a half, and it's actually not. I mean, honestly, like of course, I'm trying to show the 1099s. Like by the life I want to live for myself is that of a Ronin in the workforce, a 1099.
Are you manifesting that in your journal every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sleep on a mattress on the floor, and I wake up and I do sword practices.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like I write down like kanjis. I've been doing Japanese on Duolingo.
Joe Rogan.
Duolingo.
Joe Rogan's such a psycho. He said he has a whole like office of those like black and white notepads that you write on. That just say all work and no play makes Joe a dull boy. And he used to just wake up and write that on his. I remember him saying that like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's Joe Rogan, so it wasn't a joke.
Yeah, I guess like the arc of the what the hell was the expression go? I guess the arc of time bends toward Mencia because
Mencia, dude.
Yeah, like the more time that passes and the more that like Joe Rogan becomes like a figure, you really start to get the sense that first off, Carlos Mencia, even though he's like not really been around since the incident with Rogan, has made me laugh way more than Joe Rogan ever has.
Yeah.
And secondly, Rogan is just a stick in the mud. This motherfucker is a wet blanket. And he stole from us one of our most beloved, whatever Mencia actually is, some sort of white Latino, or maybe he is actually, I don't know what he is.
I think he's full Latin.
Well, isn't his real? I heard his real name is like Ned something.
Ned Flanders. Ned
Flanders, yeah.
Actually, he just canceled a racist white guy that's playing a Mexican guy all these years, dude.
Especially because like. Man, that whole fucking shit about like maybe Mencia was stealing jokes. Who gives a shit? Dude?
So here's the thing, right? And Joe should know this, and this doesn't come up enough. That Carlos Mencia wasn't. Was he stealing jokes compared to like Joe Rogan in what they created for intellectual property?
Man.
Yes. But in the scene, there was a whole group of guys that were trying to make money doing comedy, and they would do each other's acts all over the country for different people so they could make a living. So they, George Lopez talks about this. He's like the early comedy scene, especially in the Spanish community, would give each other their acts to do so that they could all feed their families and like do this thing around the country.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Joe
sure.
Rogan just doesn't understand Mexican culture. Sounds like.
I'm just saying, like, did he like now everybody's really worried about intellectual property, but at that time, it might have just been like he was the master of what they were doing. Like, oh, I heard all these good jokes. Now I'm bringing them to you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm just like a traveling bard going around the
country. It's really corny to just be so precious about comedy, to treat it as such a sacrosanct art form when it's a con. Like it's it's a flim flam. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to actually have to work a real job, but I want to make more money than people who do work. So, like, how can I circumnavigate the life that everyone else has to live? Oh, I'll just, like, do this really stupid fucking thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's like all these guys, though, man, anyone who
talks about... If the person's likable, that's who gets it. Like with intellectual property and, like, the libertarian movement, people are like, well, what if somebody just stole Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball, right? And started performing it, like when Ron Jeremy did the cover. And it's like, yeah, well, he can make money off it too, but people also want to watch Miley perform it, so she's still going to make money. So they don't really take away from one another.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I have no problem with people taking intellectual property. I don't believe in intellectual property. I believe in everybody.
It's like meme coins, dude. It's like a bunch of different coins will launch. They're all called like fart coin.
Yeah.
But it's just whichever one is the one that people decide is the real one. That's the real one. It doesn't matter which one came out first.
And Joe Rogan basically went in there very authoritarian, like the government, and was like, oh, no, we own these. We own this.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing this, I'm going to beat you up. And so I guess that's a way to do it. But it's like, just if people want to see Carlos Mencia do your jokes rather than you do them, you've kind of failed as a comedian. Like,
I kind of agree. I feel like if you're doing some shit that somebody else could just take from you and it works for them,
and it works for them better than you, so you're mad at it.
Yeah, because I always thought, like, if I'm doing anything from any place of perspective, that it would be singular to me, that I would be the only one that'd be able to perform whatever it is I've written. So if somebody else can take that and do it, then it's obvious that, like, whatever I've written is not that good. It should be like something that only I can make work. You know what I mean?
And also, I do, with one caveat, like, if you're the headliner, for example, you're kind of like the owner of the property of the show that's going to go on when you pick the openers. And there is some headliners that will, like, I heard a joke with Tracy Morgan going up to somebody, and I forget who it was, but they basically sat him down before the show and they were like, listen, do whatever you want, but no fart jokes tonight. Because he was basically like, look, I got 10 minutes on fart jokes. Don't wear them out on fart jokes. And I think it wasn't even Tracy that said it to him. Tracy had one of his people go to him, sit him down real serious and be like, look, no fart jokes tonight. All right. Where it just came down from Morgan.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, so that comedy sucks. It's gay. It's stupid. And this bubble needs to burst, dude. The fucking Big Short meme where it's Steve Carell on the phone and he's like, Casey Rocket is headlining and you didn't think there was a bubble? You know?
Yeah. That's the guy I was trying to remember of a couple weeks ago, and I was saying he thinks he's Robin Williams, but he's got curly hair. Yeah, Casey Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, good for them. Get you,
it's the Emperor's New Clothes.
Touch some motherfucking paper. You know what I'm saying? Touch some paper, get your bag, because honestly, my philosophy on everything is like there's enough stuff. There's like we had enough stuff 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
30, 40, 50, who knows? Like there's like hundreds of years of stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff. So this constant trying to create new things is, I guess it's cool every now and then you get something good, but most of it's bad, and there's already like enough good things that I don't really care. Like if you're getting paid to do something shitty, it's like, yeah, I mean that's all of history. I think the things that are good will stand the test of time, and we only find out about that after enough. Like we'll be dead. We'll be dead before we find out what's actually good from times.
That I don't disagree with, but also I think you and me have very like obtuse minds or whatever that really do think outside the box compared to a lot of people. Because I remember
brain.
Jordan Peterson like almost cry laughing retelling Joe Rogan's joke where Joe Rogan is up on the stool being a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Which I was like, it's about the Kardashians or whatever. I don't find it very funny, but being empathetic and putting myself in other people's shoes, Jordan Peterson tries to pretend like he's this huge, like open-minded individual, but he's really regurgitating some philosophers throughout history. And so when he sees Joe Rogan doing that, it's so outside of like where he actually thinks that it probably does seem absurd, which tickles that funny bone.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, that's not that wild. Like I've seen and heard wilder jokes from people with better setups and better misdirects. Like I know where this is going.
Is there a misdirect?
Yeah, exactly. Wait. So I don't know. I just remember watching Peterson get like super excited and cry laughing, explaining that Joe Rogan joke. And it just kind of put everything in perspective of how the average person is so straight-laced every day that seems extremely like wild to them, like the most absurd thing they've ever seen in their life. It doesn't seem that absurd to me.
No, it doesn't seem that absurd or clever, but
yeah,
he has more money than me, so
yeah, I think the reason his podcast kind of sucks is because he's still dancing in between the raindrops. He pretends like he's alt news, but he's actually doing everything he can to grow. And in order to do that,
did you see that?
No.
Man, did you see that that Wolf Blitzer spot with Nathan Fielder and the NTSB guy?
No, so Nathan Fielder's getting hot right now, right? He's got a new show or something.
He's been on the up and up for a while, man. Because I watched this show Nathan For You when it was on.
Yeah, I remember that. I watched that one. Wait, the one where he did the the business ideas is the one that I watched. Yeah. Okay.
And so now he does like a number of things because he did a scripted show with Emma Stone called The Curse, but then he's got this show called The Rehearsal, which is like, I guess like the next evolution of Nathan For You, where it's like season-long arcs of like, just like a elaborate, intricate ideas that he has.
But from the twisted mind of...
Yeah. And so this like most recent season was
I assume it's better than anything Tom Segura has on Netflix right now.
Dude, it's the best shit I've seen. It's the funniest thing that's on TV right now.
Okay.
It's genuinely, it's not only is it like really funny, it like, I've never seen anything like it before.
But he's not turning into like Dax Flame or anything.
No, he's like his own thing. Like he's very very much a character. Like the Nathan Fielder, like he's very deadpan. Yep. He kind of sounds like a Muppet. He sounds like Kermit the Frog almost.
Yep.
But yeah, the show is not only is it like really funny, it's kind of like this experiment in television. It's not going to be for everybody, but for me, it's cool to see somebody make something that, as far as I know, has never existed before. Like it's a wholly new kind of show that kind of blurs the lines between TV and reality. and not in the way of like reality.
I knew you were gonna say that. It sounds so cliche, but I do believe you when you say that.
Well, because because I know that like when reality TV started, it was like, you know, you watch the Osbournes and you kind of wonder like, is this real? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And there were people who thought it was kind of real at first, I guess, but then as the years went on, everybody kind of got hip to reality TV that it's like it's just as fake as anything else.
Yep.
It's just presented in a way to appear.
And pause. When Josie does come on, she works in reality TV, so maybe we can go a little behind the scenes next month when she's on.
So like this guy Nathan Fielder does this thing where he presents it in a way that you're kind of wondering like, where does the TV show end and real life begin? Because he's very upfront that he's making a show, but then there's all these elements to it that are also real, and so you're just never quite sure what's real or not. And
I was having this conversation before I came on the show tonight.
Yeah, so this
with
season,
this
season of the rehearsal, he was like he's been researching all this information regarding like commercial aviation accidents, like plane crashes and stuff. And so he kind of comes to the conclusion that a contributing factor to aviation accidents is lack of communication between the co-pilot and the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
That there's this like tension that is there due to just like rank. Like the pilot is big for his britches. Yep. He's got a lot of ego, and the co-pilot's afraid to speak up.
Yep.
And so,
I heard about this. This is not just him. I've heard about this in the past. It happens in Japan a lot.
Yeah, so he takes this information to the former head of the NTSB, John Golia. And John Golia is like, "Yep, I'm aware of this, but it's very difficult to get this in front of Congress and the FAA.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of money." And he tells me, he goes, "I have money I can put behind this. Like HBO is like gives me a budget for this show." So the whole premise is that he is going to put money into this effort to try and like make air travel safer through like figuring out how like what's going on with these pilots. But then he also says, but HBO is the catch is HBO wants me to make a comedy show, so I gotta figure out how to also make this funny. This is the first episode. It's 10 minutes in, and there hasn't been a joke yet. So that's like that's kind of the premise.
That
of
in
the
itself
season.
is the joke.
Yeah, that's kind of the premise of the season. But then, it goes to a place where he ends up taking flight lessons. Like he come to find out, like 2 years prior to this, he started putting in flight hours to train to actually become a pilot.
Okay.
And he got his certificate. He got like his license to fly like small aircraft, but then he wanted to get licensed to actually fly a 737.
This is all filmed like a reality show,
kind of,
or like a documentary, or like The Office, or like how is it filmed?
It's filmed. There's moments that are filmed like a documentary, and then there's scripted segments where he's doing like reenactments. And so but all the stuff that's like him actually interacting with like the real world is more like reality TV or documentary. But this is a long-winded way to get to say that he does eventually fly a commercial 737. And that's in the finale. So after that airs, it was like a couple of days ago, everybody online was like, "What? Why is Nathan Fielder on CNN right now?" And so he's on CNN with the old guy from the NTSB, John Golia.
Okay.
And the Wolf Blitzer and this other lady are interviewing them. And you'll have to watch. I'm not going to do it justice for like how funny it is.
I even forget that CNN exists anymore. We make the news now.
So get this, at the very end, he says to Wolf Blitzer, he's like, "By the way, before I go, this is just like important. I just want to get this out there. So, a lot of people nowadays go to alternative news sources, comedy podcasters like Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn to get the word out about stuff. But for me, it's still CNN all the
way. Dude, there's nothing better.
That was the funny, dude. I got lightheaded. I was like, dude, this is the funniest shit he could have said.
There's nothing better than being. I mean, he might have been being fake or really earnest, but there's nothing better than being like super earnest to somebody, and then they think you're messing with them, but they can't like call you out on it like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's the weird thing about him is that in that interview with Wolf Blitzer, he seemed very earnest, but he's still definitely a trickster. But he came across as like sincere.
Yeah. It is fun when it's not like Joe Gorman style.
Yeah, it did not feel like he was exploiting anyone or being patronizing or shitty. He had some funny lines in the interview, like he was being funny, but he was also being like pretty respectful. He wasn't doing like a wacky Andy Kaufman or Bobcat Goldthwait thing. It was much more subdued, and in a way that like pushes the boundaries of the show itself, the rehearsal, where it's like the season ended, but it feels like it's continuing just into real life now.
Yeah, because the character that he's created showed up on CNN to discuss this.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, this is part of the show.
Yeah, and then yesterday he was at a Padres game.
That's not much different than what we do. We kind of entertain and play some characters here. That travels over onto Twitter, which some people still think of Twitter as like the real world. I think of it.
It's more real than real, dude.
I think of it as just like a playground, not an office.
Dude, it's more real. But then, dude, yesterday he was at a Padres game, it looked like, and somebody got a picture and posted on Twitter of it when they got him on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
And he was smiling in the camera and said Nathan Fielder, and then the whatever the thing, the title for him they gave him said Nathan Fielder, comedian / 737 pilot. So he's having a good time. Yeah. But it's an interesting experiment in television. So, folks, if you want to see something that's actually good and funny, turn this off and go fire up HBO Max and watch the rehearsal.
So next month will be GayFab.
Oh, $9.99 from Drew Huntley. Can we all take a moment, possibly a moment of silence, to recognize the birth of Robbie Goodwin? On this day was a good one born. Amen, a man of Goodwin. Amen. Happy birthday, Robbie.
Yeah, happy birthday, Robbie.
I made a little money on Robbie's birthday.
Nice. Yeah, nothing like exploiting your friends on their birthday,
dude. Well, I thought I was just joking. Like,
Sweeze
posted that he was trying to figure out Robbie's Venmo.
I
tweeted it and said Robbie's Venmo is Dalton-Pruitt. His Cash App is $$DPruitt47. And then some people did send me money.
Shout out to America's sweetheart.
Shout out to Sweeze. We love Sweeze.
Yeah.
But man, so what was that? Oh yeah, 1099s, W2s. I guess that is a good thing about having a W2 job, a slave job, is you get to be cradled by Big Daddy Corporation. So they handle all the taxes for you, and then at the end of the year, you can just put it in the TurboTax. They get you your benefits. That's like where it kind of becomes like shackles, is the benefits packages, like health insurance and shit, because like getting that kind of thing on your own, like health insurance, is so prohibitively expensive that like getting it through an employer
is. Do you know the story behind that? The history?
No.
So prior to the Great Depression, people had pretty affordable health care that they paid for out of pocket. And they had some places had similar to like the Chinese model, where you paid a doctor, and then when you got sick, you stopped paying him and he had to take care of you. And then during the Great Depression, the government made a law that you couldn't give employees raises until like, I don't know if it's the Great Depression or the war, but there was a rule put together that you couldn't give raises. So in order to incentivize workers, corporations started giving them health care. And then by the time that was all over, your health care was tied to corporations by the end of it all. So there was a time not too long ago when there was affordable health care that individuals paid for that wasn't entangled in the government muck of corporations, but they were trying to figure out how to incentivize workers that deserved raises but weren't allowed to get raises by federal law.
Some benefits packages, yeah. Oh, thank you, bros. $5 from Broseph Smith. That was me, Dalton. Wanted to share the love. Oh, so the Broseph that sent me a Venmo and then now a super chat. Thank you, Broseph.
I will break the fourth wall right here, and still people will still think that I'm messing around, so they won't know where the truth is, to add to the Nathan stuff. But even what we do here, when you're making jokes and you're in and out, like I said, I'm not as like cut off as some other people that you've worked with in the past. But it's surprising to me, you know, people believe what they want to believe. So when they watch the show, they listen to things they say, they see my Twitter, people put together their own judgment of me that they've never met, hung out with, talked to, or had any relationship with. And then they take that into the real world. So everybody's kind of like, even if you're not playing a character, people are still creating the character they believe that you are in their heads based on their viewings and interactions.
Well, you know what Rush said? Also Canadian. Nathan Fielder, Canadian, Rush, Canadian. All the world's indeed a stage, and we are merely players.
Yeah, that was Rush. Yeah.
Performers and portrayers.
How dare you say that to a Greek? That was Rush's.
Each another's audience inside the gilded cage.
Did you ever watch Tom Green's recent documentary?
Wait a second. Robbie's Venmo. If anyone wants to send Robbie money, what is his Venmo? Hold on, I gotta figure out.
Did he put it on his Twitter?
It's let me see. Here.
Actually, I'll just give you my crypto wallet. Robbie's
Robbie's
down
Venmo is
Boston. I'll drive down and give it to him tomorrow.
It's just Robbie Goodwin. So that's his Venmo. If anybody wants to send him money, if anybody wants to send me money, my Venmo is Dalton Pruitt. But send Robbie money for his birthday. Send him in at least enough to get a kilo of kratom. Yeah.
I hope his flight was okay because we had a lot of torrential rain and thunderstorms here in the area. Yeah. And I know he was flying in. He flew home so him and his mom could spend some time
his
together.
arms are tired.
Exhausted, dude.
Yeah.
He's been putting the weight on too. He's been Uber Eats and friggin' ice cream live on the show.
Yeah.
Decadent Arab boy on his birthday.
And sweet dude, I'm on record saying that I think Barstool Sports is evil and it sucks and it's a den of foul beasts and mutants.
I've seen them keep the bar stools, but do they actually talk any sports anymore?
I don't know what they do, man. They got some fucking dude on there named Frank, who's a big fat piece of shit, kind of like me, but way fatter.
He's stealing your bit. He's pulling a Carlos Mencia on you.
Well, this dude.
Hey, that's my bit.
I just saw a post where they were like doing a weigh-in. Like apparently he's on a weight loss journey. Yeah. So he's weighing in at like his lowest weight since he started this, which is like 317 pounds or something. So they said when it started, he weighed like 530 pounds. And
how many US dollars is that?
I don't know the conversion.
No, okay. No big deal.
I can tell you how many loonies that is.
Yeah.
I can tell you how many loonies and toonies. No, but this motherfucker weighed like 500 pounds, which anywhere else in the country, I understand. Texas, Tennessee.
Dude, that's so hard. Like
Kansas.
That's so hard. You got to be injured, right? How do you get that big?
I don't know.
How do you become that decadent?
I don't understand. Like New York fat like that. Like to be that fucking fat in New York, you have to like really be actively trying to be fat.
Yeah,
it's like work at that point because it's such a like
because you gotta walk around that city.
It's such a pedestrian city. Like you walk it, just like going about your day. You should walk like 15 miles without even realizing it because you just got to walk everywhere. I really never understood. I've never understood how there's people in that city who just balloon up like that and stay fat as shit because like they must be spending like crazy money just Ubering everywhere, just going out of their way to not walk.
What? Yeah. What's your number? So mine's like 225. Like every time I start creeping towards 225, I'm like, I gotta turn this ship around.
Dude.
This is the first time in my life where at 200, I'm like, I gotta turn this ship around. Like a year ago, I've been dieting, exercising, lifting, doing all this stuff, and I gained 10 pounds.
Dude, I
so hit... like I'm continuing to move upward while working diligently to try and lose weight. So like what's your number?
I don't know. I can tell
you know what I mean? Like there's a number where you're like, okay, I gotta turn this around.
I hit I gotta fix this number a long time ago. Like I've been in it redlining for a while. Like the check engine light has been on for some time now. Cause I get like I don't even want to weigh myself. I don't need to know the number. I just know that like the fatter you get, just regular everyday activities start to become more difficult. You become a prisoner in your own flesh.
Yeah, even so like
all that kind of stuff where it's like wiping my ass and bathing and just doing the kind of shit that you should be able to do regularly, just maintenance. So like getting around is like becoming difficult, like putting shoes on.
So that still puts the brakes on it though. That's what I'm saying. So like when you get 500 pounds, you have to blow by shoes and you're like, okay, I'm just wearing slippers. And you're like,
yeah.
And then you have to blow by belts and like pants and you're like, okay, it looks like it's sweatpants and slippers. Like there's a lot of things that you blow by and like just decide you're doing this other thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to be fat.
Yeah, and I'm saying right like now there's different levels to it. So for like at some point for me, like if I couldn't get my shoes on, I'd be like, all right, we're turning this ship around right now. So everybody's just got a different thing. So I don't understand unless you're injured in the hospital, like Dave Blunt's. Like, how did he get? Like, what happened? You know? What I mean?
I don't know, man. Because like, I got fat as shit.
Shout out to Dave, by the way, and I congratulations on his health journey.
Shout out, yeah, we want him to stay around, but I got fat as shit over the last like year and a half, just due to being lazy, but also dealing with like brain issues. Yeah. So like on and off all these different medications and just not being able to like be motivated. And this is like now, I don't know if y'all can tell. I'm having a nice little keto snack, some peppered beef jerky.
Nice.
So I am trying to like, be more mindful when I get the hankering for snacks. Less chips, less crackers, less bread-based snacks. Hit the jerky. And then, just like regular low impact exercising. Walking.
Like eating low impact, like eating jerky, dude.
Eating jerky will work out your jaw. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that you keep on the journey or whatever. And
I got to, man.
So I can see like, so this is why I wanted to bring it up. Cause so like the pandemic is a good example. So I think mentally the pandemic.
Don't talk to me about pans. I'm trying to eat better.
A lot of stress on people, so they stayed in, they would eat or whatever. Or if somebody has like an injury, like you said, they get a knee injury, maybe they start taking some like medications and they put on weight or whatever. So I do see some medical things happening. I just get confused because I just don't see it. There's certain levels of it that I can't see how you get like that. Like Stav, I understand because he said, I'm just going to let it go and do this and lean into it and be gluttonous. So he grew himself on purpose. But other people, I think, are just like depressed and sick and they mentally can't, pump the brakes. They just blow by, can't put their shoes on, blow by pants, blow by. They're like, looks like this shirt don't fit anymore. I got to get triple X. Oh, dude, I got to get quadruple.
I've been off buttons for a while now. I've been off buttons.
Dude, you ate so much you turn yourself Amish, dude.
Yeah, I've been off buttons and zippers for some time. I'm straight to last.
I guess that joke doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm wearing sweats. I'm wearing N1 shorts.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to I got a pair of Levi 501s hanging up that I look at every day. And I'm like, one day.
And that Warner Brother t-shirt. That Warner Brother t-shirt.
And the Warner, if you see a cop, Warner Brother. Yeah. I got that and a pair of Levi 501s with the button fly.
Nice.
And every day it's just, just trying to get to that next button until I can button that whole, the pair of pants up.
2 years ago, I was fasting heavy. I was doing a lot of trail running, like in the woods and stuff, plus lifting, still eating pretty normal, but a lot of fasting, which was doing a lot of calorie cutting. And I got down to 175. I felt great. And I was like, I'm never going back. So I switched from XLs down to large, living the life. And then I was like, a couple months back, maybe a year back, I was like, I got to make the switch up to XLs. And I'm right on the brink where even the white t-shirts, the undershirts I wear around here that are XL, dude, I shouldn't be wearing those in public. I should be making the switch to a double XL. But I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm just a couple months from fitting into this XL and almost a large again. But I just can't turn it around. So, yeah. But anyways, we got
I'm up to enough X's.
Yeah, it's already Pride Month in China, right? It's not here in the U.S. yet, but they're already starting to celebrate Pride in China. It's like New Year's; everybody celebrates it. It goes over the.
Do they got gay people in China?
It's hard to tell. They all look the same, so I would think so.
I don't know.
But that's not just for gay people. It's for like people that are like octopus sexual and stuff like that too, that have different identities.
I don't know if I've ever seen a gay Chinese.
There was a Chinese trans person on Kill Tony a couple of weeks back.
But that's not gay.
Or Talans, if you will.
That's different. I mean, like a gay classic.
Hard to tell because the men are very soft and domesticated. Ladyboys, like they just go to ladyboys, right?
No, that's Thailand. That's different.
But you mean Chinese?
Chinese,
just straight Chinese. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't. I think
Bo Yang is gay, and if he's Chinese, I guess he technically is a gay Chinese. Yeah. But I've never heard of like mainland China gay. Maybe Hong Kong, but not China.
I think they just transition. Like you just become a lady boy.
No, that's Iran. That's Iran.
In Israel, I think does that too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I just got
a message. Wait, hide off the presses. I just got a message that Ms. O'Brien can meet us tonight if we'd like to talk about mushrooms and liberty and whatever comes up.
Mushrooms and liberty.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, dude. One time, my friend Jamie, who used to, when he and I actually started Bible study on here, and then, nice. Here's, is my mouse working? Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
You were the top one on my small Twitter account now that I've been banned from the main one. But of the 3 choices, everybody wanted to learn about mushrooms. So you were the top guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
So we have author,
my name is Dalton. I'm Dalton.
Hi, Dalton.
Hi there. And your name, you're Avens?
Aven, sorry. So author, writer, activist, entrepreneur, Aven O'Brien joins us tonight. Hello. Did I miss anything? Any monikers that I miss?
I don't think so. What's funny is you just said author, and I'm like, well, I write stuff on the internet, but like I haven't written a book. So I like me, author seems like a very specific title.
You had a blog and maybe a Substack for a while, didn't you? Was it Katie? Do you guys? Who was the other lady for Liberty with you at Borkfest? I think it begins with a K.
Oh, Katie Murray.
Yeah, Katie.
Yeah.
I don't think Anne Frank ever thought of herself as an author, and yet we read her book.
Well, some would say that neither her nor her father wrote that book anyway. So,
all right, well,
guess it's who you ask.
So Avens, you're into mushrooms.
I do mushrooms. I do.
You do mushrooms for like a living.
Yes, I am I get to talk about drugs, make drugs, and sell drugs for a living, sort of.
Okay, so you're like,
and she also sells non-medicinal mushrooms as well.
I gotta tell you,
so go on.
Dave mentioned mushrooms. I was telling him right before you showed up that one time I had a friend of mine worked at a really fancy Italian restaurant, like real upscale. Like they made him wear like shoes.
Shoes, no bare feet, no shoes, no shirt, no service.
They made him wear like a suit.
Was this Papa John's?
No, they made him wear like a suit as a waiter, like just a waiter. He had to wear a suit. But one night he said, "Hey, come to the restaurant and have dinner with us. You know, my manager is going to give us a deal on like half off all the food." And I was like, "All right." So we went, and his manager came by and said, "He's like, I bring you something real special on the house." And so he brought us this it was like a black truffle pizza with the actual, because I think most people be eating just like truffle oil or some kind of potato chip that's called a truffle chip.
Yep.
It's like some bullshit they sell at the store that's not that good. But this was like a $70 pizza, like an 8-inch, 70 that we got for free. And it's probably the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. It was actually, I was like, oh, this, like, I guess I get it. I didn't understand truffles or mushrooms or any of that before, but actually eating a real one, I was like, I can see why these are so sought out. Do
you sell Italian food, mushroom kits?
I do not. So I don't. It's funny. So we have a mushroom grow. So basically, my company that I co-founded, we have a mushroom grow bag, and then we have liquid culture for the genetics of mushrooms. And so our kit is specifically tailored towards growing psilocybin mushrooms only.
Gotcha.
So it's technically. There's one other, there's a gourmet mushroom. Portobellos technically can grow in the same kind of environment substrate as magic mushrooms. So technically there's plausible deniability. You could buy ours and grow portobellos in it, but nobody's doing that.
Yeah. Just like bongs are for tobacco use only.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, portobello, that's a good mushroom. And then what are some other
I'm not a big portobello fan. As a vegan, people always try to convince me that this is what steak tastes like, and they give it to me. I don't like them. Keep them away. It's not the best mushroom. Stop lying to me. There's other mushrooms that are better.
The ironic thing about all of this is that I don't actually enjoy eating food mushrooms. I don't eat or grow gourmet mushrooms at all. I'm not a mycologist that got into mycology because I cared about mushrooms. I got into mycology because I was interested in magic mushrooms specifically. Oh. And so I literally that's why I did it. It's everyone else during the pandemic, everybody else decided to learn how to make sourdough, and I was like, that's boring. Let's make mushrooms. So I learned how to grow mushrooms. That was my little project, and then I became extremely good at it, and then I started a company to help other people do it.
Okay, yeah, I'm not allowed to eat those kinds anymore. So I'll enjoy like a shroom and Swiss burger, or I do enjoy eating mushrooms. But you specialize in the psilocybin mushrooms.
So this is a great crossover because I have a question for you. So Dalton in his past had some negative experiences with magic mushrooms experiences. You and Judd have very positive experiences with it, even microdosing for depression, helping with other mental stuff or whatever. What do you find that people have a negative reaction to it? What goes on? Because I feel like I would have a negative reaction, which is why I stay away from them.
Right. I mean, shrooms are an interesting thing because I feel like psychedelics in general, like some people have a bad experience specifically with mushrooms, but not with other psychedelics like LSD or 2CB or things like that. I've definitely met people who've had negative experiences with mushrooms, but a lot of times the reason is because they either they took too little, so they didn't get as far as they needed to go, and instead they kind of ended up in this kind of like middle ground space where they weren't tripping hard enough to actually break through and deal with whatever they're going to deal with while they're tripping, but they're just uncomfortable the whole time. Or they do take a lot. They go through like an extremely like tough experience, and they fail to learn the lesson that tough experience gave them. And that's not always the case. There are people who have psychiatric breaks on mushrooms. This is not like, I'm not saying 100% everybody should take mushrooms and everyone's going to have a good time, because that's not true. But I would say that there's a tiny part of the population that will actually have like a certifiably terrible experience because they they have some kind of psychiatric break as a result of them. There are people who have a bad experience because they won't be prepared for like how far mushrooms can go and how like deep you can go, and suddenly you're like realizing that you haven't dealt with your problems with your parental figures or your whatever, or like an abusive ex or a trauma that you experienced in childhood that you need to deal with. And a lot of people will go, I'm going to take mushrooms for fun. And then they find out that sometimes mushrooms just decide that they're medicine. And like, it's a very rough medicine to take if you're not prepared. And so like, I tell people most bad trips are just like you're resisting the journey into yourself. And there are valid reasons to resist that journey, but like, go with it, because you're already on the roller coaster. And if there are like two boys on a roller coaster and you see like one of them like they're getting up and they're about to go to the drop, you see one boy will be like, oh my god, no, I don't want to go on it, no, stop. And you see the other boy going, yes, let's go, oh my god. Their brains are doing exactly the same thing. Their brains are actually firing exactly the same way. Just one of them is leaning into it and one of them is leaning away from it, and this guy's having a bad time because he's like, no. But if you kind of let it happen, you can journey, and you can find clarity within that.
Well, I had almost had a mental break doing marijuana, and I was able to come back to it in very low doses and experience happiness with it again. And it kind of like opened me up to figure out where that is. But if I do too much, I go to a very bad place. And then I'm like, oh, great. Like now all this anxiety is just firing inside of me and I just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
And so I recognize it, but I'm like, this is not fun to sit here with the chemicals of anxiety in my body for the next 3 hours. And I can still do stuff or whatever. It's just like, oh, this is not the chemicals that I wanted to get from experiencing this.
Is that just smoking weed or eating it?
So with eating it, if I do like eating, I do a lot better. So if I do like 2.5 and go into the woods, which is very low dose for most people, I'll have a blast. The colors brighten up. Everything drops off. I'm very childlike, maybe go up to 5.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to 10, all right, the cops are after me. I got to get out of here. All right, where do I have my stash at? I have my extra Bitcoin ledger there. Where's my extra ammo at? So I'm like, okay, this is not a fun day. Going through my survival techniques for the next 30 minutes until this wears off. So
It's funny. I can't eat weed. Like eating weed is like a worse trip for me than anything else. Cause I feel like when I eat weed, like if I take, like I can take like 5 milligrams and be okay, but like anything over 5 milligrams, I feel like I have a lot of thoughts in my brain, but I can't say any of them. So I feel like I'm literally just trapped in a prison of my own brain for like a period of time that's usually a couple of hours, and I hate it. I mean, I love to talk, so I already hate it, but like it's just awful.
That was my experience. Is like weed would be, whether smoking it or eating it, would be like very intense, and I would have to like work through some pretty severe anxiety that it was like just like fear that it was inducing, where I just sit there and be like freaking out about it.
Yeah.
But then like a lot of mushroom experiences that I had, until it went really bad, until I actually did have a psychotic break. But a lot of the trips I had with mushrooms always felt like, I guess what you're describing, where if you just like relinquish yourself to the experience, I was like, man, this is fun. I was always like, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Until I wasn't. But yeah, I mean, I did a lot of high doses many times, and I always, I guess I was like, got hooked on it because I was like, oh, this is so much more fun than weed. Until I guess you do too much, and then they put you in the psych ward.
And it's also very chemically like most psychedelics are very different than cannabis in terms of both like their physicality and also how they're interacting with your brain's receptors. So like they're like cannabis in certain quantities can be very anti-anxiety, whereas like sometimes for some people, which like shrooms and psychedelics, they can actually have an increase of anxiety. But a lot of times, like when you lean into that anxiety, sometimes you can get through anxiety, which is really nice. So it's an interesting like thing. And I mean, like it's like there's no one size fits all in terms of people and their proximity to kind of like how they engage with the various chemicals that we can throw into our brains.
Right. So what do you so like, I'm trying to think how to ask this, like when people eat psilocybin and they experience something that seemingly feels very, in a real way, spiritual, do you think that you're like tapping into some sort of primordial oneness, or is it just a chemical reaction?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like, is it like, I would say that a chemical reaction can cause you to stop kind of taking down like the filters. And this is actually what they see in psilocybin specifically, is that when you take psilocybin, your brain actually calms down because it stops running your default programming. And by your default programming, I don't mean like how you were born. I mean how you have developed to interact in this world. And so the patterns that you've created to kind of get through life. And so that's why people have like a childlike experience on shrooms, because the filters that we naturally run in our brains to get us to kind of like do our lives and go to work and drive and whatever, all those filters that keep us functional in life, which are very essential and important, those filters get just basically shut down. And so then it's like a green field, and your brain is going, oh my God, I never thought about these things being connected. Oh my goodness, I can see all these exciting things that I normally filter out. And so in that, when people unfilter, it's possible that they're tapping into something that they don't notice, or they might just be experiencing something internally spiritual that is just like their kind of interpretation of what they see as like oneness or the divine or whatever. Like they're like, I mean, what is anything that we experience but like our brains making sense of what we're seeing, you know, like what right. Like what is objective reality? And so so, you know, whether or not that means like, hey, everyone taps into the like universal truths, I don't know. I'm an atheist. I don't believe that like there's a place in which you find God because God exists. I just think that there's a place where you start to kind of filter out the assumptions that you make about the world, and then you might tap into things that everybody else like kind of feels under the surface.
To add to this question, I have like a chicken versus egg type thing. So don't a lot of people on mushrooms go for their first trip and they end up in a place that's very similar to a place that other people have been to, like people that they meet in that place or images they see or colors or whatever. So my question always, do they see that because they've heard other people's stories about it, then they take mushrooms and then they experience a similar thing? Or do people that have never met each other both take mushrooms and then open up and they see these similar things? And that, I think, might add to Dalton's question. If they're seeing these similar things, then what is this? And how are two people that have never met interacting, having the same visual experience that's like kind of internalized? Because a lot of times they're seeing the not hallucinations. I guess it's hallucinations if you take enough of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I like honestly, like we don't necessarily know the answer to that, but we do. I think that what we kind of observe is that like a lot of people can come to similar conclusions starting like without ever interacting, right? You know, like math was invented in multiple places in human history, right? You know what I mean? Like human beings can come to similar conclusions without ever comparing notes until the very end. And so whether it means that we're tapping into some truth because we tapped into it like simultaneously but separately, or it's because, you know, like I watched a documentary in which, you know, Hunter Thompson said this is what DMT was like, and therefore that's what DMT ended up being like. I do notice that like a lot of people's reports of particular things such as DMT seem to have very like major similarities, and there's like distinctive differences between like the psychedelics experience, the psychedelic hallucinations experienced during DMT versus like LSD or psilocybin. Like people describe DMT as being really fractally sometimes, and I did ayahuasca once, and it was really geometric, which I wasn't expecting. So like whereas like the visuals that I get on shrooms are not usually as geometric, they're kind of like bubbly, for lack of a better term. So but, like I notice people say that. They'll say, oh yeah, when I do shrooms, I feel this way. And when I do DMT, I feel this way. So whether it's that our brains, like that chemical reaction causes the same thing.
Yeah, it's when I was imbibing a lot of these things, because like I don't think Dave, you just described like DMT. Mushrooms.
No, I've done, back when I used to do heavy meditation in marijuana, when I think a lot and I use words when I think. I have an inner monologue. But when I do weed, I think in pictures. It goes to full images. So I do a lot of weed. I'm getting a ton of mental images flying, and it starts to get very uncomfortable. But if I can close my eyes and meditate and like soak them in, then I can experience, and it's very psychedelic on just weed.
I never had that with weed. I can tell you like when I was eating a lot of mushrooms, the experience I had was not. It wasn't anything where I went somewhere or was having like hallucinations. It was like, honestly, what Aven's kind of the adjective I would use is bubbly, where it just felt like this shift in reality where I just was seeing everything in a new way, and it was like this very strong. It was like a very strong feeling of like being connected to everything in the way that fungi are. You know,
you're a fungi?
Yeah, the network of a mushroom.
Mycelium.
Yeah, the mycelium. Yes, and
I want to talk about Bob too if we get a chance.
From Twin Peaks.
No, the big mushroom guy.
Okay.
In the West, Bob the mushroom.
But
that runs that whole forest.
But yeah, I mean, but there's also, I guess that there is something like in pop culture or anecdotal stories you hear that can influence, I think, your perspective when you do, I guess, like anything really, but like mushrooms, you know, you hear all these stories about them and see people do them in movies. And so you go into it with this like preconceived notion that I guess can influence it, but there is like a very real chemical reaction happening that where you like experience what it actually is, like what it really feels like, where, you know, it may be exaggerated in movies, or it can't really be I guess like conveyed to you just through like a story it is something you have to, I guess, feel for yourself. I will say that like the interesting thing about like, I guess like the way that a number of people will have like the same experience, just like these commonalities is like, for me, you know, Ken Kesey, the author, he said about psychedelics, you either graduate or you get kicked out. So you know, you start eating all this stuff, and you either like get to a place where you're done with it, or it'll be done with you. So I got kicked out, and so eventually I had a full break. I had like a full psychotic break, and it was funny because like I have heard about people having mental breaks before, and I knew, so like there's a part of me that like knew what like a psychotic break looks like, and the stories people had told, and like the things people do when they're in that state of mind. That when I was actually going through it, I was completely unaware of like all the signs that I knew of, like the stories I had heard, that like all the stuff that was happening to me, that like in a rational place I would recognize. I was like completely lost in it, where like this.
I think you found yourself, but we'll have that
maybe
discussion on another.
But I mean, in
episode.
the moment, like the sort of like paranoid obsession that I would have with like religious symbolism and numbers and surveillance, like feeling like I was being watched all the time, like all the like very paranoid delusions I was in.
You are being watched all the time.
That is true. Yeah, the Palantir.
We're literally live streaming right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting that like in the moment as it was happening, I was completely unaware that I was experiencing something that I was like I knew could happen and I had heard about. But then like when I talked to other people who had been through something similar, who either through drugs or just because they were already mentally dealing with their own mental issues, and like we all compared notes. All of us had like very similar experiences, like this like strange. We're all like reading the Bible and finding all these like religious things everywhere and getting obsessed with like angel numbers and thinking that the government is spying on us. Like all of us had kind of the same thing happen when we like had a mental break. So I guess there either is. So I guess it's like there either is like some spiritual like meeting ground, that you access through these things that can either be a good place or a bad place, or it's just like we all have human brains that interact with these chemicals in a similar way. I guess ultimately, maybe it doesn't even make a difference. It's like it's like the same thing.
It's funny when my partner and I take acid together. A lot of times we like when we first started doing it together, like we would actually trip once a month together, and it became this kind of joke because we get to this place where we were just like, it would be just really beautiful and really trippy, and we'd be listening to music, and it would just feel like we had literally just like exited the earth, and we were just in this like kind of space on our own little planet, on our own like whatever, and we're literally like laying in bed and just like tripping together. And so we would refer to that as our hidden place and it was really about like our emotional connection in that spot. But it was really funny because like later we would be like talking and like the next month or something, and I'd be like, ooh, let's go to our hidden place. And so it just became our kind of like silly joke for like the place in which we're on acid and we're like in this state of like visuals and vulnerability, and just like it was just a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. When it goes well, it's really good. Because I've had that experience when I'm like, when I would either eat mushrooms or acid with other people, and like we would have this like connection that would happen during those experiences where we could just sit there and like communicate with each other without really saying anything.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time me and my friend Jamie did acid together, and we just like were sitting there looking at each other and then just start laughing at nothing. But like we understood why. I don't even like we understood what the joke was, but it was like nobody was actually saying.
Nobody said it.
we were just laughing at nothing. And so I get that, but then it can, you're in this world, Avens. it can really go sideways on you. Eventually, yeah, it it kind of I had to stop all of that. A couple trips to the psych ward, and they tell you, yeah, you probably should stop doing this. So I'm sure you've seen that, and you've seen that happen with people, right?
Yeah, I've had one friend that after taking specifically acid had to go to a psych ward. I've had other friends who definitely gone through some stuff, but didn't end up quite that far. And I've heard of it, obviously, but it's actually generally really rare. But obviously, there's also things that can fuck with you physically, and just if people who are taking different psychiatric medications, and then they also take things like LSD or psilocybin or things like that. The way that those medications can interact can either render the effects of those psychedelics weaker because they're all operating on the same 5-HTBA. I don't remember which receptor, but it's one of those receptors. Or sometimes that receptor will just get kind of overwhelmed, and then people end up in this kind of state of serotonin syndrome or needing medical attention because of a physical and psychiatric reaction happening in their bodies.
Right. And I'm sorry, you did say it's Avens. I keep saying Avens.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna correct you, but I didn't have a good place.
I mess it up too, and I've known.
I got the Avens. The Avens is preheating right now. I got a DiGiorno. I'm about to put in the Avens.
The Avens, yes.
So, but you see, it sounds like I guess you're more of I guess you're a doctor, a mushroom doctor. It sounds like you describe yourself as a mycologist, you grow them, and it sounds like you have a reverence for them. Where I think myself in my wild youth, I was just trying to get high. I was like, oh, this is awesome, but it sounds like you do you treat it more as a medicine.
No. To be fair, no. To be fair, here's the thing though, is that to be fair, when I first started taking psychedelics, it was almost 20 years ago, and I definitely I was oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna take acid in the woods with my friends at a festival, that kind of stuff. And so I took acid, I took shrooms, I took MDMA, I took ketamine. I tried all these different substances, and I discovered that I really like them, and I did sometimes take them for fun, and then find therapy in them. And so it was an interesting dynamic of just sometimes I would take something and be this is gonna be a fun time, and then it would be oh, this is a work time. This is me working on myself or dealing with getting over somebody's death or getting over something going on, right? And so I became really comfortable dealing with those things, and then I could take shrooms and have fun, or I could take shrooms and really go deep. And then in I want to say 2011 or so, I was living in Las Vegas briefly, and I ended up in this situation where people kept asking me to give them guidance on their trips. And so I'm going to try shrooms for the first time, I try acid for the first time, and I'm scared, and can you help me? And so I used to charge people money to sit with them through their experiences. No, it's called trip sitting. It's called trip sitting. I'm so not a spiritualist, so I don't like any of that shit. I mean, I have no problem with people going and finding a shaman. I had a fucking shaman lead me through ayahuasca. Great. Yeah. But it's not my world. That's not what I do. I'm not here to provide spirituality. I'm here to provide sense in a place where things might stop making sense. And so for me, what I ended up doing is I guided people through their experiences. The reaction you're having is actually because you're dehydrated, or because you need fresh air, or because you're, the music is stimulating you in such a way that you're getting anxious. Let's change things up. And so I would help create the setting that would give people the experience they were looking for, whether it was fun or whether it was therapeutic or medicinal, whatever. And a lot of people would just kind of incidentally end up with antidepressant characteristics, qualities happening out of their trip experience. And then in 2013, 2014, I was continuing to do that, just on and off. Someone would reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like a little guidance. I would kind of walk them through their experience. And then and then I just enjoy things like, a handful of times a year and just have a good time. And sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's, sometimes it's like getting over something or dealing with something, or, like, hey, it's like life is really high pressure right now, and I got a lot to like work through, and my brain enjoys when I take shrooms, or when I take various psychedelics. Like I like kind of how it helps me kind of delineate between like things that are stressing me out, and like what's stressing me out here, what's stressing me out there, what have I not like coped with in my head. And so then as I like basically in 2020, I had seen like mushroom growing before. I was like vaguely interested in it, but I really was like, I'm bored. I have nothing to do right now during the pandemic. Let me learn this. And so I got really good at it. I watched YouTube videos. I watched, I went on Reddit. I checked out different forums. I read a bunch of books, and I just started growing. And I also just talked to a lot of people that were experienced in it, and I just started growing mushrooms. And so my partner and I, like, just I would talk to other mycologists. I talked to people who were like into this space. And so, and I mean, like, I live in Los Angeles and I go to Burning Man. I know I know so many people that like are in this world, And so, so then from there, I became like, okay, like I became a self-taught mycologist. I started like creating liquid culture, doing the genetics work, growing out mushrooms. And then I had to test all the mushrooms that I grew. So basically, like, I worked on like 57 different varietals of magic mushrooms. And like back in the day, you just like buy mushrooms from some guy like in a plastic bag and you have no idea what they are. Now it's like, oh, penis envy, oh, golden teacher, oh, like they all have these names like Jedi mindfuck, thrasher, steel magnolia, blah, blah, blah. And so like learning the effects that they each have, the kind of compound effects they have of the other like chemicals that are in mushrooms naturally, like the entourage effects that happen from the tryptamines inside a mushroom. And then like literally I would grow bunches of mushrooms, dry them out, and then like every 2 weeks I would take an eighth of a new one, and I'd be like, okay, this experience was like this, and I would start just literally like having like scientifically kind of going through them. Like, this is a subjective experience, but what is it like? This one's very chatty. This one's very introspective. This one's very visual. This one's not very visual, but very body load. And so I started kind of doing that. And then basically my partner and I were like, how can we bring this to more people? We can't sell mushrooms. It's not legal to do so. And so like, what do we do? And so we were like, what if people could grow their own? And I know that it cost me $10,000 before I literally grew a pound of mushrooms. Like, it took me that much money in like in supplies and like and books and failures before I actually grew a pound of mushrooms. And so I was like, how can I make this easier for people? So my partner and I developed this mushroom grow bag. Actually, hold on, I have one.
So I saw the video of you with Mike Tyson when you were showing him how to inject the bag and everything.
Yeah.
So it's
Mikeadelics.
Yes, I work with Mike Tyson on it. That's the other cool thing. Like, is that it's Mike Tyson endorsed it.
Yeah. So I watched you guys inject the liquids in like out in public and everything. So when you guys are doing that, you're doing that in a space where you're not going to get in trouble, that the men in the black suits don't show up.
So one, there's nothing illegal about a bag of soil and grain. So all this bag contains millet, cocoa coir, vermiculite, gypsum, worm castings, water. Like it's all of this is like, it's just a bag that has all those things in it. Right now it's vacuum sealed, but like, so that right there is just a bag with soil and grain.
I would like to piggyback on that and say Mike Tyson has never done anything illegal. I don't think he's an innocent man as far as I'm concerned across the board.
Let's just say Aven's new to show him the mushrooms out in public, not at 3 a.m. alone in his room.
Well, so this was the funny thing is that then like, so then liquid culture, by the way, not illegal. It's the genetics of mushrooms. It's a clone of mushroom that's like, it's a mycelium in a liquid form. You inject this into the grow bag and then you grow it. So technically, like, owning these two items, not a crime. Selling these two items, not a crime. Combining these two items, not a crime. When mycelium starts to grow, depending on your state and local laws, maybe a crime. So technically, like that process in which I was in Vegas multiple times with Mike, and we recorded the grow bag and the liquid culture and doing the injection, all of that perfectly legal. Like all of that's perfectly legal to do. The thing that was interesting is that the most recent time we had done a previous video. We filmed in front of like 300 people.
Yeah.
We filmed the injection process at MJ BizCon in December of last year. And then this February, basically, we were meeting up again. I was going to do the process with him again because it's just always good to have more like video of that same process.
Yeah.
But what I was able to do was I was like, hey, Mike, by the way, here are the mushrooms that you grew, because it takes about 2 months. It takes about 2 months to grow your mushrooms. So, I like basically he had injected the culture in December, and then I took the bag home. I watched it grow. They grew. I plucked them. I dried them. I put them in a bag, and then I said, "Hey, Mike, these are the mushrooms that you grew," and I gave them to him, and like that was a little like
Dicey,
tricky because technically that is illegal. I'm handing him magic mushrooms. But it was so funny because, and also there were security guards all around, but I didn't see any cops. But I hand them to him. Mike holds up this bag. He looks over at his manager. He's like, I made these. And then he just opens the bag and starts chowing down.
Yeah,
like
he's already
that was
eaten
scripted.
mushrooms on plenty of podcasts where he just takes a handful and eats them. I think he did it with the Paul brothers one time, one of the episodes he was on.
So, by the way, one of your commenters said that LC is technically illegal. No, it's not. Like I have been selling, like I've been barely reading these comments because I can't keep up with them.
Ignore them. They think I'm afraid of the law. So.
No. I don't like. It's just the fact that people. This is a misunderstanding that people constantly think, and it's completely not true. Spores are illegal in multiple states, and currently Florida. I think the way that the law is written, they may have just made liquid culture illegal. But I have been selling liquid culture in all 50 states for the last 3 years. Sold over 100,000 units. Mike is involved with this. Like lawyers have gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Liquid culture is not illegal, and people constantly say this, and it's one of those things that I understand why they misunderstand that, but liquid culture is not illegal, and so it does not contain psilocybin.
That's Brosif. He's actually an ANCAP, so he's one of the good ones in the chat. So I take it back. Brosif that said that's actually one of the good ones.
No longer disappointed that she doesn't sound like Warwick Davis. I guess for some reason they wanted you to be a leprechaun, I guess.
You know what's funny? When I met Dave, I was disappointed he didn't sound like the Lorax. So, we all have disappointments.
Isn't that that's just Danny DeVito? So you're saying that to like owning the components that make magic mushrooms is legal, but then combining them is kind of where you get into a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's legal to own like a propane tank and a bunch of nails. So like if you combine those two things, now it's like that's kind of that's a gray area.
Yeah, it's probably, don't quote me on this. It's probably also legal to own all of the things that make methamphetamine, but once you've made methamphetamine, you are breaking the law. And I would never ever advise that. I will advise like doing this. Like this is fun. This is great. We our website says that this is a novelty and research product. So
you can technically grow mushrooms for food and salads and stuff with the kids.
Theoretically, with like
so for those that just want to grow mushrooms at home, which are easy to do, you could do that as well.
To be fair, and there's the thing is like I love to promote other people that are doing really cool things. There's a company in Maine called North Spore, and North Spore makes they make non-psychedelic kits. They make pink oyster kits, they make lion's mane kits, and their kits are even cool because they're pre-inoculated because they can do that legally.
They come to Veg Fest every year at the vegan stuff and sell those. Yeah,
I love them. I and it's funny because like I adore them. I see them at all the things. I always like, hey guys, they did recently create a magic mushroom kit that's like not totally dissimilar from ours. And I believe strongly in ours. Also, we sell the liquid culture, which other companies don't do. So we guarantee performance. And if it doesn't grow, if you get one and you try to grow and it doesn't grow, you email us, you say, I used your liquid culture, I used your grow bag, I followed your directions, it didn't grow, I replace it, which no other company will do. But the thing is that North Spore doesn't provide genetics. So they'll just give you like a grow kit. And I like their grow kit's great. Like I'm not even going to be like competitive, even though it's a competing product. Like it's great. It's just that you need liquid culture. I have liquid culture and I guarantee. So that's my little I'm playfully competitive with them on the magical side of things. But like when it comes to people that know their shit mycologically and also like for every other food mushroom, just like go to North Spore. I love them. I want an affiliate code because I'm just like, I love you guys. I will like cheer you on because they're a great company. They're good people. We had conversations with them ages ago about like how we could work together. They recommend our liquid culture a lot of times to people when people email and go, I've got your kit, but now I don't know where to get genetics. So we're cool.
Okay.
I'm not like completely worried about it. You know, the audience doesn't know, but you know, my stance is all drugs should be legalized. Everybody should get out of the way, let people sort it out. What does concern me though, is when you have a prohibition for so long and it hasn't been like culturally understood and worked out where people have gotten like how to handle this stuff ingrained in them. And you have a lot of like damaged people that then get a hold of this stuff and use it strictly for, I don't want to start sounding like a Republican, but they go super hardcore on it. Like weed right now, everybody's like dancing like it's the roaring 30s. And then we got to get past that till it becomes not a big deal, like to it's like tobacco again, because it's out of control. So I would like to see, I won't do them. I don't believe so. I would like to see mushrooms go mainstream as the next one, like Colorado has done. And I think has Colorado and California already made mushrooms cool? Colorado?
Mushrooms have always been cool.
Well, that's the thing. It's legally Colorado has, but or at least Denver. I think Colorado has, but California definitely not. But culturally, mushrooms are just so normalized here that like technically they're not legal. Technically you can get arrested for them, but like nobody gives a shit. Like the cops are way too busy with fucking fentanyl and like actual problems to go after people with shrooms. And so it's been a really interesting dynamic because
now that's a good question. Is there a way to grow your own fentanyl?
No.
Okay. Do you eat the actual caps or do you grind them up and swallow like pills or whatever?
So what's funny is I don't do mushrooms very often anymore, but you dehydrate them and then you eat both the cap and the stem. I recommend, there's multiple ways to do it. So you can like dehydrate them and then like weigh them out and then like grind them up and put them in something. The best way to take mushrooms is a technique called lemon teching. And what you do is basically, so you take your mushrooms, you grind them up, so they're just like a dried powder, and then you put them. You take like a glass of a glass. You put the dried mushroom in it, and then you add lemons. And the reason for adding lemons is because the pH balance of lemons, not lemonade, lemons, is very similar to the pH balance in your stomach. And so what'll happen is you put the fibers of the mushrooms in the lemon juice, and you have to make sure it's like fully covering. And then you use a fork, stir it around, like use some kind of implement, stir it around for about 20 minutes. And what's happening is basically the psilocybin that's in the mushroom is infusing into the lemon juice. And then what'll happen is you can then strain it out with a coffee filter. And you basically create yourself a shot of infused lemon juice, and then you just take that shot. And what you've done is basically the psilocybin has been extracted from the mushroom. It's starting to convert into a product called psilocin, which is actually the active metabolite that your brain is gonna tickle your brain. And what'll happen is your trip will actually kick in like 15 to 20 minutes instead of 45, because you no longer have to digest this. And so that's the best way to take mushrooms if you're going to take mushrooms. It also reduces the nausea because you're not consuming like the whole plant. And sometimes people find the plant very nauseating.
What I did,
it used to give me a tummy ache.
Yeah, I honestly, I hate taking mushrooms for that reason. Like which is, I could segue into, this is why I have an additional product with my company that I could now talk about.
When I went to Vegas Skank Fest, I was offered mushrooms a couple times, and it was in candy bar form every time.
Yeah.
So they were eating cubes of
I've eaten the
chocolate.
candies, they're weak. You gotta eat like a whole bag of Gushers to...
It depends on like, that's the problem, is there's no standardization, and one of the reasons there's no standardization is because these things are illegal, and so you don't know what's in them. So there's no kind of standard of like, this is going to be 3 grams or this is going to be whatever. So, and then the longer that these materials are suspended in a form that includes moisture, the psilocybin will slowly degrade, and so like what could have been great when it was made will be less potent like 6 months to a year later.
Yep. So,
I'm still scared. What we were talking about earlier, I think, is some people have the ability or the whereabouts when they're doing drugs to recognize that it's going to be over, that this is not them permanently. And myself, and I think a lot of other people included, they'll do drugs and then like, oh, this is it forever. Like that kid in the back of the car that got his teeth pulled out.
David goes to the dentist
forever. And so when I was going through my weed, like psychological break, I don't really even see it as a break as much as I was like living in the city. I was kind of in the punk scene, but I've kind of still hanging out with like educated people in college. And I was like, I hate shoes. Why do I wear shoes? So I would just like show up without shoes. And then I was like growing dreadlocks, and this is all happening very quickly for them. But for me, I just turned into like a hippie really quickly. And everybody was having such a negative experience when they run into me that it was starting to trip me out. I would feel super comfortable like showing up like in the punk aspect of my being a hippie barefoot in somebody's house out in the garden, but then go back into the real world and feel rejected. And it was tearing me apart. So then eventually the negativity of the outside world just took over. And that's when I had my snap, if you want to call it that, between the two worlds, and kind of came back to reality, cut back on the weed, and then went back to it years later as a medication while meditating and going through my child traumas really quick and writing down or whatever. So you can speed through like 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
And like write about it in one heavy like trip compared to talking about it for 10 years with somebody and, oh, I forgot about that. Like you can, I don't know, in the Matrix, like then they plug his in and it's like flood. Yeah. You can do that to yourself. It's scary as shit. But if you set time aside, you kind of do it in the dark, work on some breathing and have like a notepad next to me. That's how I went through most of a lot of people would say that I'm broken right now, but I find like I'm fixed because of that work. I'm a lot comfortable in myself. My self-esteem's up. I'm confident in what I like to do. Everybody else seems to hate it, but that's fine with me. So
Pat wants to know if I've ever done mushrooms inside of Wendy's. I've not done that. I did do acid inside of White Castle one time. I was tripping on acid in a White Castle, and it was a real endeavor to get into the bathroom.
Did a Chinese guy and an Indian guy show up, and you stole their BMW?
No, unfortunately not. No, okay. It was a White Castle in Harlem, so it was just me and then like a bunch of black people. And then the bathrooms were locked.
That white boy's tripping. Get him out of here.
Yeah, the bathrooms were locked, but they didn't have a key or a passcode. It was like launching a nuke. Like you had to go ask them, like,
dude, I wish they had handheld cameras when you were tripping out.
My God.
No, I was like, how do I get in the bathroom? And she was like, oh, you gotta go by the door, and I'll buzz you in. And I was like, what? And so I was like, I went and grabbed the handle, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then she hit the buzzer and it wouldn't open. And I was like, this isn't working. And she goes, you gotta turn the handle when I hit the buzzer. And I was like, I'm doing that.
Dude, I would do anything for a bunch of black people roasting your ass with a smartphone filming this.
Dude, it took me like 20 minutes to get into that bathroom. trying to like time this the right way that I turned the handle when she hit the buzzer. And then I finally was able to get in the bathroom.
She didn't give up on you?
To her credit, she was willing to, get me into the bathroom. She said, well, as long as it takes.
Yeah.
It felt like it took hours because I was tripping so hard and I was like, I just don't want to pee. I feel so bad.
She didn't want you to do what you would do in the bathroom outside of the bathroom. Like, so there's a motivation. Like, please don't piss in my White Castle. I was like trying to remember what restaurant it was.
Did you have like your shirt on and everything, or like you sweating and like going through like? So no one knew that you were tripping. Only you knew.
Me and the friends I was with, I came back to the table and they were laughing at me, and I said, "Guys, I hated every second of that. Man, that sucked." But I've never done mushrooms in a Wendy's, and unfortunately, I probably never will now because I'm too scared to ever do any of this again because I had I had like years of my life lost to a mental break because I just went too hard on it. That's why I'm like surprised. Like, you do this for a living, like this is your whole business. It's funny to me that you did them the way I was doing them, where you were like, man, this is awesome. I like to party. And then you said, there's got to be a way to make a living doing this. And then you figured it out. Me, I just kept doing them in really high doses until I just kind of fell apart. But I did have I had a lot of great experiences on them. To be honest, from my perspective, speaking anecdotally, if anyone were to ever ask me, should I do mushrooms? I would say look into every other option first. Like, I would never recommend psychedelics to anybody. But it can be awesome. But it can also be like the worst thing that's ever happened to you. I got to experience both of those things, so it's a real blessing,
I recently watched the new Mission Impossible, and there's a scene in it where he's going to go into the AI and he puts a mask. Tom Cruise is going to put a mask on his face, and they stop him for a second and they're like, just so like, this is going to change you. And then he puts the mask on anyways and goes in. I think some people are like, they go in hoping that they come out different from a trip. And if you're in that experience, you like go in one way, you enjoy yourself, you come out another way, and you're like, oh, this is great. Like, I went through a portal in life. And other people go in and they fight. They're like, no, I am this. Do not break or tear down any of the structures because I'm like that. I recognize that I am. And I fight it all along the way, which is why I would never do DMT or mushrooms. Although maybe it could help. Like, maybe it could help with like depression or anxiety or whatever. I know that I would as soon as I got in there, I'd start fighting. I would take out a sword and a shield and like, you're not taking me alive, instead of going with the flow. And I've watched people do it. They want to enjoy getting fucked up, and they almost want to get brain damage. They don't care. Like, they like the changes in themselves. What's going on. I'm not suggesting you have brain damage. I'm just saying, people that don't mind, they're like, part of life is changing. Oh, I changed really quick this time. I changed slowly this time, or whatever. If
there is any lesson to be learned, and there's probably a way to learn this without doing like mind altering substances, but one of the cool things about it is like what I got from the good and the bad experiences, good trips, bad trips, even going crazy, was that like you learn, you kind of make peace. You begin to like develop this acceptance with how little control you actually have over anything. So it's like when you eat mushrooms, it takes you to this like I guess this microcosm of a place, like this 6, 7, 8 hour experience where you really do. The only way to like really deal with it is to like let go, to like release your control over your own life and just, kind of go with the flow. But then that's just like life in general. It's like you have so little control over anything in your own life, and the only control you have is like how you experience it, like how you react to things and perceive it. And so that, I guess that is like there's probably the actual long formula you could write out to get to learn that. You know what I mean? Like when you do math, you could either use a calculator or write out a formula. And I guess mushrooms are like a calculator.
I mean, I think also like, so as I said, like you can take them for fun, you can take them for therapy, you can take, and people can seek out other solutions. I would absolutely recommend psychedelics over SSRIs any day of the week. Like, and I'm not a doctor, and I will say that like loud and proud, but I've seen the side effects of SSRIs enough that I like when I have friends who are like, I'm depressed, and then like my doctor wants to prescribe me like, an SSRI. I'm like, why don't you try shrooms first? Like, because seriously, like, and it's not a good solution for everybody. It can be really bad for people with bipolar disorder or some other mental conditions. But for people who are like experiencing depression, I think that it's much safer to take mushrooms than to take, say, an SSRI. And then what's interesting too is that like we also have like right now as an approved alternative medicine is ketamine treatments for depression. And I've seen people, like I had a friend who was severely depressed to the point where he wanted to kill himself. He was planning to kill himself. He had done antidepressants, he'd been on SSRIs, he'd been on all these different things, he'd even tried shrooms, and none of it was working. And so he was making his plan to kill himself. His family figured out that he was going to do that, and they were like, please let us just throw everything that we can at this problem, and if you still want to do it in a year, we will get out of your way and let you take control of your life in that way if that's what you want to do. They got him ketamine treatment, and after the very first ketamine treatment, it completely reset him, and he learned that he needed to do a ketamine treatment every 4 months, but doing that like saves his life. Now what's crazy is that like that happened years ago, and like he's now a homeowner, like he's got all these things that he could have just let go. He could have just been like, no, I'm just gonna get rid of all of my stuff and give up my whole life and kill myself. And instead
and that guy was Elon Musk.
No, I had a lot of success with ketamine infusions because
you did ketamine infusions?
I've never done ketamine the way like gay guys do it as like a party drug. I did the infusions.
We got 20 minutes left until the gay year rolls in.
Oh yeah. But no, I went to a doctor for infusions because I had like developed after all the weed and acid mushrooms, all that, I went into like mania, which then became psychosis, and I was kind of like stuck in that for months and months and months. And then when I came out of that, on the other side of it, I was like, you come back to reality, but it's like now that I'm not like having a psychotic break anymore, I just was like debilitated. Like there was nothing left in my brain, so I was like, it was almost like this incapacitating depression where it wasn't even like I felt sad. I just like physically couldn't do anything. Like it just like very simple, just brushing my teeth, going to the bathroom, like everything felt like running a marathon. It just life became difficult in that way. Yeah. And then eventually I did started doing these ketamine infusions where like, they would put a needle in my hand and it would be like an hour like drip. And I did a few of those and that actually worked. Like that actually did like bring me back out of that a void I was in. And I started like being able to function again. Like I started doing podcasting again, this and working and getting my life back. So I honestly, ketamine
saved my life.
Ketamine kind of did save my life. It was very beneficial, but it was under the care of a medical professional. It wasn't like when they microwave it, make a powder, and then you snort it.
And then Tim Butterly makes you snort it off a desk at Skankfest.
No, yeah, no. I never did it that way. I did it the most expensive way you possibly can. but under the
Safest way.
supervision of a doctor.
Yep.
Now, what was cool though is like after the infusion, they would give me these like I'd have to go to the pharmacy to get these like gel tabs that you could like just put in the side of your mouth like a dip of snuff, but it was just like a slow dissolving ketamine tab, and that was actually pretty cool to just be able to kick my feet up on the lazy boy and put in a ketamine salt lick and drift away. That was nice.
Did you watch anime or something, or you were fine?
Dude, I would just close my eyes and listen to music. Like I didn't want to watch anything. I just would drift away, and then it would wear off, and I'd come back and be like, "Man, I feel really good right now." And then I stopped doing. I guess I got to a point where I was like, I don't need to keep spending all this money on this. And yeah, I feel okay now. I guess like I'm, just like trying to live healthy without any of this. But yeah, I mean, you're in the mushroom business. You know that there are like there are benefits there. I kind of do agree with what you're saying because I like have done it all, SSRIs and mushrooms and all that. And I would say pharmaceuticals are very iffy, if not
fuck the pharmaceutical
just
companies.
Harmful.
It's all bullshit.
I don't trust them at all, honestly.
Unless you need insulin, that's it. That's the only thing.
All the people I've met who swear by SSRIs, it feels like they're just convincing themselves that that it worked for them because they seem fucking miserable, like worse than they would be otherwise. And I've taken them, and they didn't make me feel good, and they made my penis not work. And
I was going to say that would I'd be like, listen, we got to figure something out here, buddy, because this is not working.
Yeah, like it just made me very like.
I've heard guys can't get it up and girls can't climax on it. So
it was just like
your life is ruined. Get off of this.
It's not like it perks you up and like makes you feel good. It just dulls everything. So it's like it raises the floor, but then lowers the ceiling, and then you're in that room from Being John Malkovich.
Yep.
That little small room they go in where the portal is.
I think the other issue too is that everybody was sold this like story of like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, oh, I want to be happy. It's like, if you think that happiness is like joy and excitement all the time, and you're like getting a fix all the time, then as soon as you're just calm and peaceful in your life, you're like, oh, this is boring. And then you feel depressed. Is if you're not that you should lower the baseline, but I think a lot of people are trying to be happy all the time, like in this line of enjoyment. It's like, to me, that's not a fun life.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Like having a rainy day today and it was a little bit mopey and I took things slow, and then tomorrow's going to be sunny and I'll be fast. And just experiencing different things, highs and lows of life. So I see a lot of people that get on SSRIs and they're like, oh, this is great. But they're just at baseline all the time. And I was like, that seems miserable to me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
the curves of life.
Life is ups and downs. Most of life is extremely boring. Like a lot of life is just like, routine. So that's why you have to like find the, I guess, what do they call it?
Just start a 4-hour live stream podcast on Saturdays.
Quotidian, which is like,
I like that. Go on. What's a quotidian?
A quotidian? It's just like really, I guess like unfurling the mundane experiences you have and finding the sort of majesty within those. That's why I've been developing, I guess, something I call like maybe the zen or the bliss of the supermarket, because like one of my happy places is Kroger, Albertsons, HEB, which is like for most people is just like a chore they have to do. It's like, oh, we got to go grocery shopping, but I try to like when I go to the grocery store, it's almost like it's like going to church.
Yeah,
and it's not just because I'm fat. It's like when you really, and I guess there's two ways to look at this because the grocery store. I'm going to need you to
stop making out with the lettuce.
The grocery store, like the modern American supermarket, is like it kind of like in at the same time like a monument to like humanity's greatest achievements that like nullified the sort of hard scrabble survival that we had to endure, and now just like there's a bounty before us at the store. And then, but it's also like a very like postmodern kind of nightmare that we've abstracted ourselves so much from our like nature that everything, that like
you don't even get to hunt and gather anymore. Is that
yeah? So you just go to the store and buy like everything's prepackaged and wrapped in plastic. So, but like within both of those like ideas, like when I go to Kroger, I'm just kind of awash in the sort of majesty of all of it, the good and the bad, sort of like a mushroom trip.
How long do you spend in this Kroger?
Man, I could spend hours in Kroger, dude. Just on the cereal aisle. I could get a couple hours just looking at cereal boxes.
So it really is a spiritual.
I guess I don't know what it. Yeah, I don't know what it is about because I normally hate going to big stores like Walmart, Target, all that.
Yeah.
But if I go to a Kroger or an Albertsons or like a local market or whatever, it is like, for something about it to me is like very pleasant, where I'm like, oh, I just like looking at going up and down the aisle, see what they got, looking for all the things that people don't usually buy. Like the other day I bought pickled pig lips. So, stuff like, I guess it's just, I don't know. For me, it's like, but going to the grocery store is like a mundane experience for it's something you have to do. And then for most people, it's like, I got a list, I got to go get these things. But for me, it's like the closest, I guess, in modern America that I'll get to like the adventure of hunting and gathering, which is,
hate grocery shopping, but I'm in and out. It's not an adventure for me. I go in there, I people watch a little bit. I get a little frustrated because people will just stop with their cart in front of you and not understand what's going on. But that's it. I'm in and out. So I'm fascinated by the fact that you're having this whimsical time going to the grocery store.
Because we got Aven's here, the mushroom lady, Madam Mushroom.
Yeah.
And there is I don't know if this is something that everyone has felt when people have done mushrooms, but like the times I ate mushrooms and had a really good experience.
Like, you were at a grocery store?
I have gone grocery shopping on mushrooms.
Yeah.
But no, I will say that like in the times when the trips were good, it kind of like brought me to a place where I didn't need a ton of stimuli to feel excited or happy. Like I could really just like hone in on, I guess like in any other sort of state of mind would appear as like mundane, but for me, all of a sudden became like this, this very good, like glorious sort of thing. I don't know how to describe it. Just like looking at a tree or a blade of grass, or just looking at like the sun reflecting off dust.
Have you ever? I know you've seen Donnie Darko, but have you ever had your own like premonitions where you're in an experience and you're like, oh, I feel like I dreamt this before, but then you try to stop yourself from repeating what you think you're gonna do from what you remember, and you can't stop yourself, and it's mundane. Like it's just like, I'm gonna step on this rock. I know I'm gonna step on it, and then you do, and it feels at home.
Yeah.
So when you're in when you're in the grocery store, do you feel like somebody else is taking control of you, and you are just in the moment, like on a conveyor belt, like having this experience, walk like you are part of the grocery store. It is you. You are it. And you're kind of like drifting through with not a care in the world. The rest of the world melts away.
Yeah, I just drift away. I'm just like finally in the moment. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, French toast crunch.
So this is how I feel in the woods. Like when I go into the woods, people will get pissed because I will take weed and I will just stop and start playing with a frog like a child for 5 minutes until somebody that doesn't know me well will be like, let's go. So if I don't do weed, I'm Johnny exercising. I'm like, we got to get up to the top of the mountain back. My record is 45 minutes and let's go. And if I do weed, we're 50. I'm not like, you can still see the highway and I'm playing with a frog or watching chipmunks for 20 minutes.
So,
So
Dave,
that's the closest thing I can experience to that. Go ahead.
Dave, when you're hiking on like a mountain or something, do you find a tree stump and then stand on it and go, I am the Lorax to speak for the tree?
I don't.
I want to see you do that.
Can I tell you something? I'll share something with you. When I was doing heavy meditation, and I can still do this without any weed now because I did it for so long, I am the Lorax. I do speak to the trees. I go into the woods and I will put my hand on the side of a tree and close my eyes. And then I can see what looks like trees in my mind's eyes of the forest. It's all green. And in my delusional mind, I think that the tree is giving me energy through that to allow me to visualize the forest through its root system.
Nice.
Yeah,
I know it's crazy and I don't scientifically believe it, but when I'm doing that, I am a 16-year-old buying her first crystals. Like, I believe it. Like, this is real.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the spirit.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Avens, because you've eaten magic mushrooms. You do it.
Oh no, I've never done that.
This is your business, but
Yeah.
let me how good is a cigarette when you're on mushrooms? Have you ever smoked a cigarette while you're tripping?
No.
Really? Oh,
I don't do tobacco. I don't.
It's not good for you. Look, it's not good for you. You shouldn't. Smoking's bad. But I'm telling you, that's a spiritual experience. Like
because of the nicotine, like
I don't know what
being a nootropic on top of it.
I could see that because I mean that's the thing is that a lot of these things have like they're having physical effects on our bodies too, and so like the first time you ever smoke a cigarette, you typically have like that nicotine rush causes like certain things to happen to your blood vessels and your whatever. Like most psychedelics are vasoconstrictive, and so they cause very particular reactions in your physicality. And so like then when you combine that with like let's say weed, which is vasodilating, or other things like what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Erectile dysfunction medications are often vasodilators. And so if you take those things together, or you smoke weed with it, or you smoke a cigarette, like you're basically like you're just having a little chemistry experiment in your body. Like things happen.
Yeah, I don't know what it was because I've talked to other people about this, and it's I guess like true degenerate drug addicts who are just addicted to everything. Like we're all tripping and smoking cigarettes. And everyone I've talked to about this has said like there's something about like smoking a cigarette when you're like tripping on shrooms or acid where it just feels awesome, and it does. It is like a different feeling than if you're sober. I guess like if you're sober and you smoke your first cigarette, yeah, it'll give you that buzz. But if you're like used to smoking tobacco or vapes or whatever, I guess it just keeps you from getting jittery at that point. But then like if you something about like eating mushrooms and getting like really tripping on them, it just feels like you're like God is hugging your lungs, I guess.
I could see that. I mean, it's funny. I like one of my favorite drug combos is I'll take MDMA and then I'll do whippets, which is nitrous oxide.
You're doing galaxy.
It is literally the best feeling in the world. I do it every once in a while. I'll do acid. I'll do MDMA at Burning Man. It's rare because I don't like having to like navigate Burning Man on Molly, but sometimes I will do it. And I remember it was like pre-pandemic. I had taken some Molly, and then like my friend was like, "Hey, you want to do a whippet?" And I was like, "I've never combined these two things before." And I was like,
"It does sound fun."
That's my new favorite thing.
Yeah. Hearing the two stories of because I've heard the stories of what those are like, so I can see how combining them because you're feeling the complete whippet from beginning to end. Like,
oh my god! The only thing is that
it's a good call when I'm thinking about it here. Yeah,
it's honestly it's made whippets by themselves a little bit disappointing because it's nice because I'll be like, oh okay, I'm gonna do the whippet and buy it like by itself, and I can sometimes get myself there anyway, but like that combination of like MDMA and whippets is just divine.
Yeah, folks, this is not medical advice.
No, this is medical advice, guys. Get off the pharmaceuticals, do whippets. I've never done a full whippet, but I have accidentally, being a fat boy, tried to finish the whipped cream off and accidentally giving myself whippets before. I got a tiny just lightheaded from it, but so I have an idea of what like a full blown like going hard on a whip would be. And then I'm not sure what Molly is like, but I have an idea from weed how good you feel when you're like on edibles. So I'm just picturing those two multiplied together would be pretty fantastic experience.
Oh, wait. Avens, you like Tool?
Yes, I love Tool. I was directing in the chat.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, guys. So while you have a second here, if you're on Instagram, if you could go over to Advanced Myco, so that's Advanced MYCO. That's the company where you guys can find the link to shrooms, mushrooms, Michael in what's Mike's collaboration with you?
Oh, the
Mikeadelics.
Mikeadelics, yeah. So all the links and everything is there. I'm sure you guys have already tracked down her personal Instagram and Twitter. Please don't be mean to her. Okay, please be nice. She can handle it. She's
no, my audience is cool.
I don't want to sick our fans.
I have made every effort to curate a cool audience here. I have like.
Well, we're cooler. We're the libertarian anarchists, so you guys already hate our politics.
I'm actually a hammer and sickle. I'm a communist, and you're a libertarian, and it's just the show is the tension therein. But no, I've made every effort to make sure to try and bring in people that are cool because I've done internet stuff a lot. And sometimes, if you don't have a filter, if you just let everything in, you get a lot of crazy, you get a lot of really weird people that find you, and they just kind of want to be mean to everybody. Everybody here, everybody that tunes into this channel is cool.
I was obviously joking. I know how strong she is. I've met her. I've met her brothers. I actually have a lot of respect. One of the few ladies in the world I have a lot of respect for and admiration. Had a lot of great conversations with. Actually, the last time we hung out and had conversations was hilarious because my buddy, when we left, was like, you can't talk to women like that. She's going to be upset with you. It's like, she loves having philosophical conversations. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You just never met like
I don't
people like this.
I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like we had a discussion and like I don't remember what we talked about. That was
fun. We went to that. Well, first of all, so I mean, people can have bad trips and experiences with chemical releases, even without drugs. So we met up at the, I guess it was goth night, but it's just a music club. It was kind of, yeah. And I've been to that scene before, plenty of times throughout my life, or whatever. Just never in Manchester. My buddy was nervous to come. He ended up coming and having a great time. We had a total blast there. But even in that experience, because we were dressed to play poker, we're showing up there and everybody's so we were wearing, well, I was like wearing like camo, I think, in a black hoodie, but he's wearing like a button-up shirt and pants. We played poker, so he looked
very out of place.
And he's having whatever. So you can have a trip even without drugs because you go into there and you're not familiar with that world. You're stepping into a different world. The outside world, everybody's like living that, and then you go in there and everybody's dressed and having fun and different conversations, and gender roles are mixed matched and everybody's fine with everybody and friendly and open. I think people that aren't used to that think they're going to be in and feel like outsiders when they go in. But anyways, he thought we were getting heated. And I was like, that was the greatest night. I missed talking to her. And he was like, dude, you were so mean to her. I was like, what? We had the best conversation. Her brother's like, I ran into Lars and he was like, you know what I mean? It was great to meet your brothers. Anyways, the chat doesn't need to hear this inside baseball. But if you're a fan of libertarian writings and author stuff, I would also check out. You still have the blog, or is the blog down?
Yeah, I have the blog. I don't post as much on that because it's like really long form evergreen content. But then but like I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter. And honestly, like it's funny because like Facebook, I don't block anybody, so I don't even cultivate an audience. My audience just like people who showed up, and some of them followed me because they agreed with me on one political topic, and then they're horrified by other political topics I have to talk about. And so like I've been plenty verbally abused by my own audience that I don't nothing like what was it somewhere down here? Drew said something like playful, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Drew's the man.
He called me a dumb cunt, and I was like, cool. Like,
okay, well, that's me.
Like, I'm not
please don't be mean.
Like, I don't give a shit though. Like, that's the thing though, is that like I've been on the internet for it was really funny when I was a kid. My family, my mother would not do like cable or anything. She was like, no, we're not getting cable TV. No. But we got internet. And so we had like AOL. I was a kid in the 90s, like, on AOL. And I would like go into chat rooms and like pretend I was an adult and like have conversations with people. And
ruin people's lives.
And then I was
children
like,
by accident.
Right. And then I was like I was on MySpace when I was like 14. So like I got used to the fact that like the internet is full of people who are just kind of shit talking, and then like and there's trolls. And for me, like I just I was raised on it. So for me, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna shit talk each other a little bit. There's gonna be trolls. And like I always tell this to like any of my friends who have like writing that goes viral and they end up with a big audience, because I've had an audience, is I always say like, as you become bigger, like people are going to show up and they're going to say like offensive shit. They're going to try to rile you up. And at the end of the day, like people who are trolling are trying to like control your emotional state, and they want you to react. And so like so either have fun with your reactions, like play it up. Like I think you've seen me in Twitter threads, like somebody will, call me something or be like mean to me. And I just like respond with like GIF images of like, Sandra Bullock, like being a dumb blonde or something. Like I'm like playful about it. Like I'm not here to have my emotional state affected by creeps on the internet. Like, so I don't care.
No, trust me, I know. It's become a running I mean, maybe it's not a running gag. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know where the bit starts and ends, but everybody's here to see Dalton. And I would say a very small percentage of the audience is here to enjoy me. Most of them hate watching me.
Dude, people do not like you, man. They like you better in person, but definitely on Twitter, man. They don't like you. But
because people take life too seriously. Like Twitter's just fun. And if you're getting upset about words and you don't even know me, like I personally, people might hate to hear this too, is like, I think you have stuff to work out, not me. It's all jokes at the end of the day. And if I can get a rile out of you for typing some words, then because I have fun with the few people that I do interact with there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people are going to get bits and pieces of everything. And even like, so we have 3 people here that have done all sorts of different life altering drugs. And we had 3 completely different outcomes from that. Because when anybody goes into a situation, they take what they want to take out of it. So if people see me and they decide to take hatred out of it, they can do that. But the fact that people don't know me that well and they've already decided that they hate somebody, I can't think of a single person that I hate. So it's just strange to me,
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned it, because I would say the worst drug is the media. I went and saw Tool right after Fear Inoculum came out when they were touring that album, and they're too big to enjoy the show. It was an arena, so you have to be like extravagantly wealthy to have a good time, because you got to be able to afford those floor seats, which are like thousands of dollars, I think. So I just had nosebleeds in an arena. I didn't enjoy that. I do like their music. I've done the very stereotypical get high, trip on mushrooms, whatever. Put on Lateralis. I've done that. But they are fun. They're a fun band, and but I guess kind of similar to what you were saying, Dave. You can't. I think where they get kind of a bad reputation, or at least the fans of Tool, kind of maybe have a bad reputation. Is I think people take it too seriously when it's like my first memory of the band was in high school. Someone had a Tool shirt that was obviously like a wrench and two nuts. That was
I remember that.
Looked like a dick and balls.
Yeah.
So like when I started hearing about people, like how serious people get about the band, where they talk about like Fibonacci sequences and time signatures, I was like, you mean the Dick and Balls band?
Their band is literally named Tool.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think it's named after?
Yeah, they got songs about like fisting and fucking. They have a song called "Hooker with a Penis," so it's like
right.
Song. Yeah, they have a sense of humor, and so I guess that does kind of it kind of makes sense, like why when you see Maynard in interviews, he doesn't come across as like this spiritually enlightened. He kind of comes across like a dickhead. But they were never. But I guess they were never that kind of band that was like, some hippy dippy spiritual type band. They just make cool music, and also they were never like too serious about themselves. It seems like, So yeah, I like Tool. I like Tool. I like Pussifer, Perfect Circle. Did you hear the new? Primus just put out a song with Maynard called "Little Lord Fentanyl."
Huh. I have not seen that.
By the way, everybody,
why are you gay?
Happy Pride Month. It's midnight.
Oh yeah.
So be prepared for lots of gay jokes this month.
Yeah. One time me and this comedian Dave Cyrus together sang Schism at karaoke, and it really upset everybody because it's like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I've never done karaoke.
Oh, karaoke's awesome.
I love karaoke.
I was gonna say, I know. Yeah.
You've seen how much I post about karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke's awesome.
I don't know what song I would even do for karaoke. I would not do an 8-minute song.
No,
I would probably pick something lighter.
My usual go-to is Possum Kingdom by Toadies. And then I'm trying to think what else.
My go-to is depends on the audience, but I always love Gold Dust Woman by Fleetwood Mac, and then I usually do Crazy by CeeLo Green because it's just like it's a peppy one. And I usually do Zombie by the Cranberries. So those are like the three that like I'll kick those three out anytime.
Zombie with that hairdo, that last name probably rocks.
I fucking kill Zombie. Like it's easy. Like if I go to a karaoke bar and like my friends and I are just getting a drink and like, oh, there's karaoke going on, like I'll just put my name in, I'll just do Zombie and then I'll leave. But like people will be like, what the fuck was that? Like I thought that was like, it's cute. People will be like, I thought that was the recording or some shit. And I'm like, just Irish girls, putting out for also Dolores died. So like, you gotta have someone singing it.
That's something I'm missing in my repertoire. I should just get one karaoke song that you crush. That's what every man should do. So you can just randomly go up like you're not even like it's anything. You're like, oh, just crush it, and then just walk away all calm and just sit down like it was no big deal. But you have to practice it for like decades.
Well, it's not about.
I have a good story about that.
Yeah, what's your karaoke story?
So my brother. So you met my brothers, Dave, and so one of my brothers,
and Lars.
Yeah, and one of my brothers.
Do they not want their names out?
I mean, it doesn't.
Everybody has those names. I'm sure you can't find them. Very common names. They won't find them.
Totally find a Ragnar somewhere. No, that is his birth name. But anyway, the point is, so they had this buddy, this friend of theirs named Jimmy, Jimmy, I love Jimmy, but he's like such a like Southie Boston boy, like, and he had a couple of like moves with the ladies, and one of my favorites was so in Manchester, New Hampshire, I was living there at the time. I would go out for karaoke, and Jimmy would have this thing he would do because we would go to this karaoke bar that was a gay bar, And so Jimmy would like go out on a date with a girl. And then as the date was like wrapping up, we want to go get a drink somewhere. He would like bring her to the gay bar to show how like open he was, like how, oh yeah, I'm cool. I don't mind the gay bar. It's fine. And so like he'd, go have a good date with the girl, go for drinks at the gay bar, which was also just the place to get the strongest drinks. And then he would stumble into me doing karaoke. He'd be like, oh my God, Aven, so good to see you. And I would go, oh, hey, Jimmy, are you going to do some karaoke? He's like, oh, I could. I have a song I want to do just for her, just for the girl I'm out with tonight. And he would put in I'll Be, that song, I'll be your crying shoulder, that one. and he would always sing it as if he had just come up with it. And then like he would, it'd be his turn. He'd go up on stage. He would sing that song. He'd dedicate it to the girl he was on the date with. And she'd be like, oh my God, this is so sweet. And then like 2 weeks later, new girl, the same thing.
Pretty good wing woman operation there that you didn't sell him out.
Well, I am now, but I'm pretty sure he's like settled down. I mean, this was 20 years ago, but it was so funny, and it was like one of my favorite little karaoke. Like every time some dude does that at a karaoke place, I'm always like, oh my God, is this the Jimmy situation where he's just trying to get the girl to sleep with him?
When that goes on, I'm very torn because part of me is envious.
That's a good one. Natalie Imbruglia. That'd be a good one for karaoke.
Torn is really fun. I love doing Torn.
Yeah.
What?
Torn. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel.
Cold and I'm
naked on the floor.
Illusion never changed into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect time.
We're gonna get a monetary strike. They're gonna think that you're stealing the.
That'd be a good one for karaoke.
Stealing the lyrics, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if I could.
Classic.
I'm envious of a guy that can go up there and put himself out there to like sing. And put in like in a corny situation like that and put the cheese on super strong and the woman enjoys it, because I can't separate when I watch it. Like I'm actually torn because I'm like, I get what he's doing and I get that it's working, but also I'm getting secondhand embarrassment at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that a universal experience, or am I just a giant pussy that can't sing karaoke to a woman?
There's people who can actually sing. Like I used to go to karaoke all the time. I haven't been in a while, but there would be people who would come in there to do karaoke who genuinely were good at singing. Where I was like, dude, I don't know why you're doing this for free. But then there's like guys like me where I really enjoy it. I can't sing that well, but I give it 110%. I have fun. I have fun. I'm giving it everything I got. It's a song I enjoy, and it's really the passion that translates to everybody.
So I got a Texas question for you: is karaoke huge in Texas?
It's huge everywhere, dude.
Well, see, up north we have karaoke. You just go into a bar, and sometimes they have karaoke bars, and but when I went down to, I think it was North or South Carolina, I went to this like Dave and Buster's type place near the water, or at least where they were selling blue crabs at the time. And then they had karaoke on this huge stage, and they had wardrobes and costumes and sign-up sheet. So everybody that got up there was in garb that they picked out to perform in and stuff. It was a huge event. And this started at like 3 p.m, and we left. And then we went back at night, and it was still going until like 2 a.m. So it was the biggest I've ever seen karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke night, because I used to go to my college town a lot in Denton, Texas, and karaoke night was always something that would go until they had to lock the doors. Like they had to be like, we got to go. Yep. Bars closed. But yeah, I mean, yeah, people love it. It's like another good karaoke song. It's just a good way to release your inhibitions. The future is still unwritten. So the rest is still unwritten.
I'm familiar with that one too.
Hey Dave, feel the rain on your skin.
Will do. I'm not kicking you off the show, but I did promise that I would give you an out at some point because you have date night. Stay as long as you want. We love having you here, but I just wanted to remind you not to take you out of the element or whatever. You're no obligation. We go like 4 hours, which is crazy.
No, I know.
You're welcome
I know.
to say the whole point, but I know you said you were going to jump in before date night. Continue the karaoke thing. I'm not being passive aggressive here.
No,
I'm just saying I didn't want you to be feeling like you had other places to go, because we love having you here. You were the number one pick for everybody, for the fans when they did the poll. So
to be fair, if I didn't feel like I could exit, I would probably text you on like, I'd just be like, yo, I'm gonna peace out.
I figured you would, but
right now I'm good.
Yeah, no, I think the first.
I won't bring it up again.
The first time, one of the first times I ever had a guest on this channel, it was me and Drew Flores were doing a stream together, and we had on this lady from Twitter, really nice gal, who calls herself Autistic Boobs. Okay. And she is actually autistic. So when she hit her like limit for how long she could do this, she just left without saying anything.
Heck yeah.
So I think that's
dude, I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that's how
I am.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that's how logical I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, she just disappeared. And we were like, oh, I guess she like her battery was done. And so that kind of set the standard. So I hope, anyone that comes on here, it's like, come in and out as you please.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I'm literally like, we do date night on Saturday nights, but we usually do it fairly late. And tonight we're taking Pitocin, which is another psychedelic chemical that is somewhat like psilocybin. So we're like planning for that, but like he had a bunch of work to do before we're going to do that. So I basically just messaged him and I just said, hey, what's your how are you feeling? Do you need half an hour? Do you need an hour? Whatever. And we're just, we live together. We like, so our life is like texting like, hey, when would we like to do drugs together? So
dates are good. I really like figs.
I do dates. I take the pits out. Oh, I've been doing dates, split them in half, put peanut butter in the middle, freeze them.
Cover them in chocolate?
I didn't cover them in chocolate, and you just brought it to another level.
We'll cover them in chocolate, and then while the chocolate's wet, like put on like peanuts, like crumbled up peanuts, and then you basically have a Snickers bar.
Yeah, they taste super good. Just the peanut butter in the frozen dates, so that's a whole nother level. Is the chocolate and crushed nuts on top. But I've been eating those for a snack, and I have a sweet tooth. And if I don't keep something in the house, I'll panic. And when I'm at the store, I'll just buy like the family size bag of Sour Patch Kids and just eat it to my head until I feel sick. So I have to keep something around. Those have really helped.
I've been getting into prunes.
Prunes are good.
Prunes are good.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
What other dried fruits are we getting into? Welcome to the dried fruit section.
Craisins.
Well, we're talking about fruits. It's Pride Month,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It is Pride Month. Actually, I just bet against the gay economy. I just put $80 into something called Straight Coin. And
it's gonna tank this month, dude. That was last month, dude. You gotta sell that for Pride Month.
So I bought into it and then looked at the Twitter because fortunately
you got to buy the dip during June, and then it's going to like spike up in July because people are going to be like, no, I have to prove my homophobia now.
Well, I found it at a good entry. It had already ran up and then dipped.
Hey, pause.
I got a good entry on Straight Coin.
It's not to bring up entry during.
But now a lot of the meme coin groups are moving away from Telegram and just doing Twitter communities.
Yep.
So I checked the Twitter community, and the whole thesis of the coin is the gays get a month, we get a coin. And you know what? It's actually performing pretty well. I'm up like $40 on it. So I am betting against the gay market by buying Straight Coin. But
Straight Coin is the first homophobic coin. Get involved?
No, not by a long shot. Most of the coins are racist and homophobic. This is just one that is just timely. We're coming into Pride Month. Straight Coin. And that one's. I'm starting to get better, oddly enough, at gambling on meme coins. I'm like in the way that most people try to figure out finance, CDs and IRAs and investing. I'm like really starting to understand.
They're in the trenches.
Yes, I'm starting to understand crypto scams.
Yeah.
But That's what that's I don't have the wherewithal to do a mycology business, which honestly, what you invested in to get your business up and running is about how much any trader loses.
The birthday boy's here, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Robbie's
Happy birthday, Robbie. Oh, maybe
yeah.
Who's the best karaoke singer here? Maybe she would want to sing happy birthday to you.
Wait, but you got to do it like we got to do it like Marilyn Monroe style, like when she sang it to Kennedy.
Yeah,
or
Robbie,
Black Happy Birthday.
Come in here, Robbie. We want to see your reaction as you can. Happy birthday song to you. Are we really going to do this? Or
don't put Robbie on the spot like that. He does not. Nobody likes.
He doesn't want a beautiful woman to sing happy birthday to him. Come on.
Happy birthday to you. Oh, we'll wait then. Yeah. We'll just edge it and
Robbie, don't feel like you got to do Dave. This is a Dave.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
This harebrained scheme.
One of my harebrained schemes to have Robbie get happy birthday sung to him. I'm such a jerk. Everybody continue to hate me and razz me online.
I like raspberries. I like blue raspberries.
Do they dry raspberries? They do.
Well, I don't want
cranberries and craisins, grapes and raisins. Prunes are. What are prunes? Plums?
Yeah, plums. Yeah, you got dried apricots.
Figs are just the same, whether you dry them or eat them fresh. They don't get a second name,
you can pluck a fig right off the tree.
Dates are the same too.
Yeah.
What's a date before it's dried? Just a date, right?
What does this mean? Got some B+ cubensis going in the dehydrator right now. Much love. Thanks so much for regularly.
Those are psilocybin mushrooms. B+ is one of the easiest ones to grow, so it's
neon cubensis Evangelion.
Thanks for the $10, Bailey.
Thank you for the $10. And if anybody wants to send Robbie some birthday money, his Venmo is Dalton-Pruitt. And then and here's Rob. Who's this? No.
Drew Huntley. So this is so Drew's like basically the man on the street for our podcast. So he was just poking fun at you earlier.
Happy birthday to Rob, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be in that long, dude. Happy birthday, Robbie. Love you, doggy. Love all you on the show.
Hell yeah, dude. It's good to see Drew. We'll do a quick check-in with Drew. Ovens, this is Drew who's been in the chat.
Yeah.
Drew. He's the one who called you a cunt earlier.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. He's our man on the street. He's always drinking Coors Light, even when he's driving home sometimes, which we worry about. But he's living in California. He's living the real dream.
Yeah,
he's working on boats late at night sometimes, which is great. I love to see that.
Yo, we'll check in with Drew real quick. Drew, how many silver bullets have you had?
Dude, today is a lot, dude. I'm probably like 27 deep at this point.
Did you say 27?
27 Coors Light.
They're light though, dude.
I mean, they're badly flavored water, so whatever.
Yeah, sorry, phone's flying around.
Yeah, beer is one of those things that when I was drinking, it was the only thing where drinking 27 of them felt like a light night where I was like, I haven't even finished this first case yet.
I couldn't even drink 27 waters in a day.
Right. You wouldn't do it with anything else, but with beer, I would drink, if I was really drinking for like an evening, I could probably go through like 60.
But you guys probably can't see this. This is my break. Probably not going to drink this.
Yeah, you do like one Coors Light, one soda. Yeah. One soda for every Coors Light is how you stay,
No, I don't do that. That would be crazy, dude. How much liquid that would be? That'd be insane, dude.
Yeah.
See, I don't drink beer at all, but like every time I'm on my way to Burning Man, inevitably somebody at the burn will message me, but could you pick up some like Bud Light or Coors Light or something? Because like that's what they want to drink. They want like an 80 pack of that for the fucking, and I'm just like, why? I don't drink beer, but I know that it's like water.
When you drink in groups, it's helpful because I used to just drink Miller Lite because everybody's like, hey, grab 4 30 racks of Miller Lite, and then everybody's just drinking the same thing for the night.
Yeah.
But it's not about tasting good. It's just about after the second one, it just tastes like bubbly water and you're just trying to catch a buzz.
Sure. But I mean, drinking is awesome. It's probably the best drug, but I can't do it anymore. I can't do anything, man.
I like stimuli. I like caffeine. It's a good drug.
I do drink coffee every morning. I do a Cafe Bustelo instant and maybe a splash of milk. Oh,
Sam Morrell.
Shout out to Lily.
Speaking of comics, do you ever run into Duncan Trussell at Burning Man?
No, but I run into Grover Norquist at Burning Man, who also fancies himself a comic, which is really funny. He actually, one year my camp had like a stage and we actually invited Grover Norquist to do a stand-up comedy set on our stage. So, that's ridiculousness.
Who is Grover Norquist? Is he a Muppet?
Grover Norquist is that he's a conservative in DC he was the one who made that tax pledge about like getting the Republicans to sign saying that they would not raise taxes at all. And and it's so funny because he's just a character himself. Like, he's a great guy. I run into him on the like speaker circuit in conservative and libertarian circles anyway. But he years ago he posted, because he got to know some people, like he got to know Larry Harvey, who's the guy who started Burning Man, and so he wanted to go to Burning Man, but then the Republican National Convention was happening the same week as Burning Man, and so he tweeted complaining about that. He's like, whose brilliant idea was it to put the Republican National Convention at the same time as Burning Man?
Because so many Republicans want to go to Burning Man, obviously.
We have some Republicans at Burning Man, some libertarians at Burning Man.
So wait, hold on.
Well, full house tonight. Happy birthday.
I do real quick. So Grover Norquist balloons. Grover Norquist.
She ran into somebody. Typical female driver.
Yes. Wait. So you say Grover Norquist? He thinks of himself as a comedian.
That's me.
But he's a politician, correct?
Well, he's not an elected politician. He's basically like a lobbyist. He runs, I want to say it's Americans for Tax Reform or one of those organizations. It's an Americans tax.
But he's in politics.
Yes, he's not a politician, but he works in politics. Yes.
Okay, so he's not a comedian, but he's definitely a clown.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if I feel like if you're going to be a political puppet, don't be named Grover.
Give it up for Jimmy.
So this is the birthday boy, by the way, for those that don't know. Robbie is the birthday boy.
Wait, hold on. What's next? Oscar the Grouch, the congressman?
I gotta go. Robbie, love you.
Goodbye, Drew. Oh, we lost Robbie. Robbie's back.
I'm back.
Robbie's back.
Okay.
Hi, Robbie. Happy birthday.
Hello. Thank you. It's not my birthday anymore.
Oh, yeah.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. I guess on the West Coast.
Well, happy Pride Month then, Robbie.
I'm in Los Angeles. You get 2.5 hours.
Actually, yeah, and I was born in California, so it is actually my birthday. Actually, it is still my birthday.
I was born in California too.
Really?
Yeah, Orange County, but I won't say exactly where because the fans will probably dox me.
Like the one that says some pulp.
I'm just choosing to believe that you were born at Disneyland, Dave. Like now, I'm just like you were born at Disneyland. It was the whole thing. Just yes. Your mother wanted to ride Space Mountain before she gave birth, and you popped out.
I was born at Orange Count 1 2 3
Oh, happy birthday, Robbie.
Just so everyone knows, none of the money that you give Dalton tonight is going to me. I might stream tomorrow. Give that money to me.
I've made so much money on your birthday, dude.
Yeah, he gave out his Cash App for your birthday.
Dude, when I posted that on Twitter, I was joking around. There were people who sent me money where I was like, "Oh, nice."
You know what? Wait, that's good.
Robbie, what's your Venmo?
At Robbie-Goodwin, please, everybody. Thank you, Michael
support
Hall.
The arts.
Can you?
Robbie is a comedian in New York City. You'll be seeing him on the Tonight Show soon.
Yeah, I met Jay Leno tonight. I'm not kidding.
Really? Did you beat him up?
Yes. No. He asked me where. First of all, his stand-up act. You're not going to believe it. You are not going to believe what he opened with.
We have a mutual friend.
Have you heard about this?
He literally opened with, "Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?" I'm not kidding.
Hell yeah,
Stick to what
dude.
works, dude. Stick to what
But
works.
you know what?
Dude.
He got me though. Halfway
5
through his set,
booms.
it was a lot of coffee flavored coffee, but I was like, okay, dude. I mean, I'm like, he's 74 years old, and he knew so many jokes. I'm like, I have to look at my fucking paper in a 10-minute set. I can't believe this guy's like got all of it.
There's
So
there's something fun.
I met him
about
after,
seeing
and he's like,
Wait, was he
yeah,
in New York or Boston?
Boston. So, my mom's husband's father, I guess, does some charity that Leno also does from like local Massachusetts something. Anywho, I met Jay Leno. Is that cool?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Is his chin really that big?
Yeah, it was very big, and he was like, he was very. I mean, he was skinnier than I thought he would be.
Did he look
So
all
very
right?
skinny.
He looked healed up after all the accidents.
Yeah, I did not see any. I was looking for the burns. Either he had a ton of makeup on, or
No, Burns is in Springfield.
Excellent.
Did Jay Leno ask you anything?
Yeah, I thought you were saying Boo Earns. Boo Earns.
Did Jay Leno ask
Appreciating all of these Simpsons references. Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, I can't believe that killed with all you guys. I was expecting it to be for nobody.
Oh, Jay Leno Smithers?
Jay Leno saying Boo Earns. I cannot believe worked with all three of you. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Dude,
yeah, I thought no.
You're so happy, dude.
Yeah. Are they booing me? Yeah. No, they were saying Boo Earns. Boo Earns.
I think, are you saying Jay Leno Smithers?
Are you saying Boo or Boo Earns?
This is gonna be your villain arc, though. You're gonna be on Kill Tony doing this.
I was saying Boo Earns.
Mr. Barnes, you crazy.
Not the ice, yes. Eubanks is like, I was saying Boo Earns.
Jay equals white, Kevin equals black.
Lenny, tell Mr. Yeah.
So,
anyway, what are you guys talking about?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Robbie. Happy birthday to you. There you go. I did it.
Yay.
Who's this lady with the hot voice?
I'm sorry I didn't call you Mr. President, but you got to earn that.
Yeah.
What you getting into tonight?
She's having a date night with her partner.
Yeah.
She says. So sorry.
It's not a gay euphemism. We're a straight couple, but we're not legally married, so like fuck it. Like, but boyfriend is a little stupid for like somebody you've been with for 13 years. So like,
oh wow, 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, wake me up when it's 13 beers. That's what I'm trying to go to.
Okay, I'll set an alarm.
Thank you. I was thinking about that movie 28 years later. I was like, you know what sounds fun? 28 beers later. Wake me up when it's that.
What is it? So I'll tell you, when they announced that, they said Danny Boyle made this whole movie with an iPhone 15, and I said, oh, that's cool. It's like a fun little experiment. But then it turns out it's like 1,000 iPhone 15s that they used to make the movie, and it's like, well, that sounds like harder than just using a regular camera.
Wait, it's 1,000 iPhone 15s?
How much does an iPhone cost?
Like an iPhone 15 Pro Max, like $1,200.
So it's one iPhone 150,000.
I get. Well, I don't know if it's 1,000. They posted this behind the scenes like shot of the production, and it's like
a zombie. A lot of money on iPhones.
It's a zombie.
Yeah, this sounds gimmicky. Why don't you just use a camera?
I know, and it was like a
it's
zombie.
Like, why are we using? It's like, because the whole idea of why it would be cool to use an iPhone to film a movie is that anyone can do it. But when it becomes 100,000 iPhones, it's like, well, then nobody can do that. So who gives a fuck if you made it on an iPhone or not?
If it's because that's like $1.2 million in iPhones, right?
The first movie, 28 Days Later, was shot on a Sony DV.
So wait, it's about a bunch of zombies? Is it about the MAGA movement?
No, they
you seen this? You read this?
They posted this behind the
we know
scenes
that
thing.
Yeah,
Let me see.
So there's this movie called 28 Years Later.
No, it was this.
I heard Anthony Cumia's trying to make a movie called 10 Years Before That.
So check this. So look at this. Let me pull this up. Okay, so check this out.
Jamie, pull this up.
Jamie,
pull this up.
Jamie.
Shannon, you stupid bitch.
Jules?
Jules, do we have that? Where is it? Send it to me. So look at this. So this is like one of the rigs they have. So each one of the this is an iPhone.
This is not what I thought it was.
Panatron, all of my Kumia commentary is Biden commentary.
So yeah,
he bit his girlfriend.
Look at this. Each one of these is an iPhone, and it looks like they've like modulated them. So each one has like some special lens on it. Mm-hmm. So it's really not like it's not like, oh, if I have an iPhone 15, I can also make a zombie movie.
Yeah,
they're just doing some weird experiment that they have a Hollywood budget.
But wait, is it going to be able to make like a 360 movie or something?
No, it's just gimmicky bullshit. This is like Danny Boyle and this movie's gonna stink. Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are two of the most superficial fucking filmmakers. Balloons. Oh, nice. Whoa.
It sounded cool because it's like the first.
Wait, who the fuck just gave me balloons?
I don't know how the balloons work, dude. They just.
I know how it works, but you guys told me not to tell you, so I'm not going to tell you guys.
Balloons.
I remember like 20 episodes back or something in the Crowder Boys. I Googled it because I wanted to know.
Did Aven's leave?
Balloons.
I think she's just taking a break because she would Irish goodbye completely.
Yeah, we're probably gonna wrap this up soon.
Oh.
Damn.
Sorry, she just messaged me. She could do something real quick and she'll be back. She'll be back in a minute.
What,
she just had to camera.
Wait, can I be honest? I really miss her.
She's coming back.
She's coming back
so much.
Yeah,
I like the way that she sang for me.
But
y'all ever miss being in love?
You guys might hate me, but bringing back the guests, bringing the guests. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. You guys might hate me, but I'm bringing in the good guests.
Dalton's bringing in the gas.
Yeah.
Fill her up.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I am. The soundboard is coming back. Lily Abernathy was nice enough to send me a soundboard a while ago, and ever since I switched to live streaming, I've been trying to figure out how to actually use it. So I got all that podcast equipment I mentioned at the beginning is coming in.
I feel like everyone these days is either live streaming or dead naming. Do you know what I mean?
Tell me about it, brother. I hate, I tell you what, I guess I don't know if there's any reason to get into all that. Because there was like a thing that happened online and it made me sad. And the sort of delight that people found in being mean about someone.
Oh, no, let's not get into that.
No,
let's get into It's Pride Month. Let's get into the Legend of Zelda movie.
This is for Robbie and Mocha Dog. Happy birthday, Shatbird.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to Dalton, but that's okay.
It's all going to me, and probably I think 30% of it goes to YouTube.
I want to talk about that.
Wait, I saw PETA Griffin. So we were making Simpsons jokes, and like Simpsons and Family Guy are in my head.
Yeah, that's Steph Curry and PETA back when PETA was his child, for some reason. Yeah, I'm also PETA.
I'm PETA.
I'm PETA. Nice to meet you.
PETA.
Oh my God! Is that a Lois in the Wild? I can't believe it. It's a freaking game of Lois. This is crazy. Oh my God! You probably play Elden Ring and things of that nature, don't you? Also, I'm PETA.
What was
Hi, PETA.
Oh, hi, PETA.
Hi, PETA. Oh, hi, PETA.
What are we?
Oh, hi, PETA.
Hey, PETA.
Oh, hi, PETA. Oh.
I don't know. Just let him cook for a while, dude.
I mean, what am I cooking? I'm not cooking anything. I'm just saying I'm PETA. I'm shocked this is
the
leaving you
fans love it,
speechless.
dude. I'm trying not to interrupt because everybody's loving it, dude.
Yeah. Everyone loves seeing a Peta talk to Lois.
Oh, this is the great.
Well, Patreon. Subscribe to Patreon.com for this channel.
All right. So back to
and the Crowder Boys.
Back to the Pride stuff. So I played Zelda growing up, right?
Oh God.
Link is literally a dude. Link is literally a dude in a dress with tights on, knee-high boots on, long hair.
Goodbye,
right?
Robbie.
And why is everything it's going to be bad? It's like Link was always kind of non-binary. It's not weird to have like weren't those characters always like light and non-binary?
They're always kind of fruity, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see why everybody's like when they make a cartoon characters, it's literally wearing dresses and tights. They never really said that Link's a man. This is Link. And it's a person with long hair, makeup on, knee-high boots, tights, and a dress with a belt around it. And now people are upset. It's yet. Like
they
Do you know what we're talking about, by the way?
The new Zelda movie that they're talking about, like
they're talking. They haven't even announced anything official. It's just
they haven't.
The rumors are circulating, or I think it's just people have said that they like the idea of this. Is casting Hunter Schafer to be Zelda.
I mean, aesthetically, I see it.
Yeah, she'd be looking kind of elvish and
it's like that or Grimes, you know?
Yeah, very sharp.
Oh,
angular.
Grimes is a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she can act, but like I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's acting. It's playing pretend, and what is a trans person doing but pretending all the time?
Oh, it's Pride Month, Dalton. Boo.
I'm on record as being.
I am delivered.
I'm already on record as being the most pro-trans guy here. So that for me, that was just I'm joshing. But you, Dave, no, it's real when you say it, Dave.
No, so when I say it, here's the thing. How come when I have a feeling, it's less important than when a trans person has a feeling? I don't hate them. But I'm also able to have feelings about what goes on, and it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Validated your feelings.
I'm allowed to say it makes me uncomfortable, and they're also allowed to have their life.
Honestly,
those two things can coexist.
This is where I am.
I don't
on
hate
all
them.
This. Robbie Sarkozy makes a good point. Imagine having an opinion on this at all.
That wasn't my opinion. My opinion was I don't understand why people are so upset when it seems like a good character fit. It's childish and whimsy, and the characters were never like Beauty and the Beast. It was a guy that wears tights, knee-high boots, and a dress going to rescue somebody that you barely even see. Yeah. It's a princess. I've seen more gay guys call themselves princess than straight women.
Zelda also is chic. Like when Zelda goes out to do fights and adventures, she disguises herself as chic. So, who gives? It's a movie based on a video game. So I just I don't care anyway.
I just think all the stuff is weird with people. These kids movies like Snow White now is that adults are getting bent out of shape. That's again my stance on this.
Yeah, I don't really give much of a shit about any of that. Though you know what video game TV or TV show was amazing was Arcane. Arcane is great.
I mean,
so Arcane, it's an animated show, but it's based on League of Legends, or at least kind of based. I was very confused because I never played League of Legends, and I watched Arcane. I was like, what does this have to do with that? But it was fucking great.
Arcane,
and it's got Haley Steinfeld in it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's
George. I'm in the League of Legends.
Thank you, Robbie.
George, you can't be in the League of Legends, Jerry. We're in Arcane. I'd rather be Arcane. You're Cane. We all cane for candy canes.
Yep. That is the show.
Is this just Robbie's bit? Robbie just shows up and does impressions.
Yeah, he's a
you
comic.
Have no idea. You have no idea how that's exactly his bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why you're giving him the alley.
I'm a
My impressions are not going to go with it.
Yeah, I'm just a chaos agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's steampunk action adventure.
Yeah,
So I didn't know
actually,
League of Legends was steampunk.
Yeah, I didn't really get the theme of it, but the show ended up being fucking awesome, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I've heard that's good. I'm kind of burnt out on shows though. There's so many shows.
I thought
Just
you were
watch the clips,
Wait,
dude.
wait,
I'm
Dalton,
gonna start watching Arcane clips.
I thought you were burnt ends on shows.
I love burnt ends. If anybody's ever in Fort Worth, check out Heinz Barbecue in the historic districts on Magnolia.
Yeah, everybody catch up with Heinz.
Not Heinz, H-E-I-M, Heinz.
Yeah, everyone catch up with Heinz.
Yeah, you know what?
That's a good one.
That is good. Catch up with Heinz is good.
You have to say it again so
like
everybody
that.
gets it. It's a good one. Especially if it was quick.
What was the place called again, Dalton?
Heinz.
Yeah, everyone catch up with Heinz.
It is getting better. It is getting better.
I was just gonna say they got
The
really
more
good,
the more I misgender the place, the funnier it gets.
they got really good burnt ends there. If you're ever if anyone's ever in Fort Worth,
What's your favorite barbecue meat to get, and what are your favorite sides?
Is this
man? I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is gonna sound like I'm a traitor to Texas. My favorite barbecue meat is pulled pork. My favorite sides are beans and potato salad and macaroni and cheese, and then pickles and onions. It's like a
You're not a traitor. That's fucking delicious, dude.
Yeah, but Texas is brisket country, so it's like Texas is
but pulled pork. Come on, pulled pork's got to be at least a second or a close second.
They got pulled pork at a lot of barbecue places in Texas, but Texas is known for having big barbecue pits and like brisket. But yeah, I think the pork cooks up better. It's
How about limp brisket?
Okay.
What'd that sound like?
Keep
just
smoking.
It's just one of those plates where you want to get two sides everybody loves.
Yeah.
It's just one of those plates.
Hold on.
It's all about the cornbread. It's all about the cornbread. Cornbread. Beans.
Yeah.
Zip, zap, zap.
It's all about the cornbread, green beans. You better get
what
those
is this?
pickles.
This is limp brisket.
Yeah, it's limp brisket.
Okay.
Limp brisket.
Or you'll believe it with some brisket. It's all about the cornbread, green beans.
Yeah,
now it's getting me.
Wait.
It's finally driven me crazy. Where I get it now.
You better get some baked beans, or you'll believe with some brisket. It's just one of those plates where you don't even know what you want. All right, folks.
Yeah.
All right.
Fred Bratwurst.
Nice. That's good. Aven, do you have to leave?
No, actually, I'm okay for now.
Okay.
Would you like me to leave so that you can be alone?
No,
for
don't
your
leave yet.
day
I got a
orgy?
clip of this of Arcane. We can pull up very short clip.
Okay.
No, we'll watch
How about
it.
How about our?
It's very short. I put a YouTube clip in there. It's the
How about
first one I found, so I didn't even watch
Wait,
it.
so you have no idea what this context is. It might be a
No.
terrible clip.
Yeah, it's a live show. That's the risk I'm willing to take.
Okay.
Everybody hates me anyways. I can't do anything wrong. I can only fail upwards.
It is true. People do not like you, man.
There's a freedom of being at the bottom of everybody's.
Oh, shut up, Greta Thunberg.
Rumor has it they call you Dave Wrong.
Yeah.
Stinker.
Oh, yeah. No, Dave Wrong, the stinker stuck. I got a couple of people. I've heard it before, and I retweeted it, and you hit it on the Crowder Boys, and a couple people came.
Dave Wrong, the stinker.
Yeah, it is probably the funniest one. Yeah.
Well, here we'll watch a clip.
Guys, rest in peace to Inside the NBA on TNT. The final episode was tonight.
Me.
Oh, here we go.
No idea. I'm completely lost.
Dude, this looks like Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yo.
So they do a lot of middle fingers in the show.
Dude, this looks like I love early aughts anime shit like that.
So
Linkin
is that
Park.
what the animation's like though in the show? Is that the right show?
Generally, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
it's kind of got like an anime steampunk vibe to it. That's just like it's really fun. But the storyline is really good. It's like it was not what I was expecting. Like I was I watched a lot of different shows. Like that's what Judd and I do is like our date night is usually like watching a show and like talking about it and whatever and like and
Aw,
and
that's
so
nice.
it's like a nice little like every night we'll like have had a long day. We work together too, so it's like just kind of like decompressing, like watch some show together. So we go through stuff. So we were like, oh, let's check out Arcane, and it turned out to be awesome. It was like we went through like an animation period because we did Arcane after watching Blue-Eyed Samurai, and Blue-Eyed Samurai was fantastic. And then before that, we watched Shogun, which was not animated, but was also Japanese from the era of Blue-Eyed Samurai. And then before that, we watched Tokyo Vice, which is a Japanese show.
Oh, I heard that show looks great. I want to see that.
So the guy
is that Miles Teller or no? Baby Driver, isn't that right?
I don't remember, but yeah, it's
Ansel Elgort. Oh, it's Samuel's fucking cousins in it, actually. And by the way, pulling out for the fucking Knicks. They watched it all tonight. Western
These are such deep cuts for somebody who's here for the first time. I'm having so much fun watching the joke and then watching.
I'm just saying tonight was the fucking final stop for the fucking Knicks, and we all take the subway. But rest in peace to Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and friggin' Carl Anthony Towns, aka Bodega Cat, because our season ended tonight, and friggin' Stephen A. Smith is gonna friggin' quiet them all. I'm gonna jump off a friggin' bridge. All right, sorry about. All right, what were we talking about? Some anime, Arcane, the K Mutiny.
Oh, I was gonna say so. That main guy in Shogun is an actor goes by the name of Cosmo Jarvis.
Oh yeah.
Which
Jerry.
Jarvis, say the N-word.
Jarvis, steal all of your neighbor's food.
Jarvis, say the N-word. Tell him.
I'm Cosmo Jarvis.
Okay, so he's got a shaved head and a mustache.
Jarvis,
I got the guy up.
Jarvis, get Newman to come. Jarvis, do Newman to come up and do a wacky scheme with you.
You know what's funny?
And Bob Sacamena. Call Bob Sacamena. It's Cosmo Jarvis.
People are finding out about that guy now because he's finding more success as an actor. I have a friend,
Robert Downey Jr.
Him too, but no, Cosmo Jarvis.
He's a musician.
So yeah, I had a friend years ago.
Pat Thoreau's friggin' Tyrese Halliburton. I'm gonna friggin' kill him with my bare hands.
Yeah, I had a friend years ago show me a song by him.
This is the worst Halliburton since the Iraq War. Friggin' Knicks.
Happy birthday, Robbie.
Happy birthday, Robbie. Anyway, I don't know. Cosmo Jarvis had a song a friend showed me called Gay Pirates. And it's like a sea shanty about two pirates.
Oh, I'm on the sea shanty diet.
You sea shanty, you eat it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What is Shanty going for these days? What's the market for
it's actually really expensive.
Well, ever since the Deepwater Horizon explosion.
That's so true.
The BP, the price of seafood, they ain't telling you that the ocean is still very, very polluted.
Yeah,
and actually overfished, so the price of shanty really gone up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, what are you saying about gay butt pirates?
Oh no, I was just saying that guy Cosmo Jarvis. He was a musician.
Wait, yeah, Joe's right. I see shandy, so I drink it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
that's good too.
There we go.
I know
so Cosmo Jarvis.
Yeah,
at Robbie Dash Goodwin on Venmo.
Yeah, he had a song. He had a song called "Gay Pirates." It's just about two pirates being gay.
Pause. Let's listen to it.
Hey,
Pride
pause.
Month. Pull it up. Let's listen.
Oh yeah, it is Pride Month. So yeah, I guess so. So yeah, the guy that's in Shogun, he was also in the Ridley Scott show Raised by Wolves that nobody watched.
Oh, I saw that briefly, and then
it was the first season was good. The second season was obviously they ran out. They didn't know what to do with it.
I was so bored in like season 1.
Waves by Wolves? Is that about fucking Anthony Edwards?
Yeah. So check this. So yeah, we'll go ahead and.
So Gay Pirate. So it's about Jack Sparrow.
No.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow.
Where's the rum gone?
Jack Sparrow,
That's actually
I believe.
Guys, Jack Sparrow is so cool.
Right?
Those are
don't even get me fucking started.
I've already
on
said this.
Jack
I'm
Sparrow
on
is so
record.
cool. Johnny Depp got off with crimes. That's how cool Jack Sparrow
Jack
is.
Sparrow's the coolest guy ever, and
I'm on
it
record
upsets
saying
me.
Pirates of the Caribbean's better than Star Wars.
By the
better
way,
than Lord of the Rings.
Is that
I
the
can watch
only-
all the
is that the
Pirates
ol-
movies.
Is that the only time it's
Sorry.
pronounced Caribbean? That's the only
Yes.
time. Everyone calls it Caribbean except when they say Pirates of the Caribbean, and then
It's
all
not
of a sudden it's
It's not
Caribbean.
going to be Irie and the
I've
Pirates of the
heard
Caribbean.
pretentious people say it that way before too.
I've only heard it said Caribbean when talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. Everyone,
Yes.
any other time you talk about the Caribbean, it's the Caribbean. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Caribbean
You're
Fisher?
right.
What are we doing?
What's the deal with this?
Robbie,
Am I the
right.
Caribbean-
Jack Sparrow
Right.
is the coolest guy ever, and I don't even want to get into how upset I am that we may.
Did you guys vote? Did
So
you guys
can we
vote for?
play the gay song?
Did you guys
yeah.
I
vote
want
for?
to hear. I want to.
By the way, wait, Dalton, did you vote for Caribbean Fisher for mayor?
I did.
Oh, so do you know who Corinne Fisher is?
No, do you not have to explain it?
She might
Yeah,
know
what is through
that.
the gay song?
She's running for mayor of
No, she dropped out
New
already.
York. Oh, okay.
Oh,
We have a political analyst with
So
us.
this is the
too,
guy
so-
from Shogun, the main guy in Shogun. This is what he
Show
was
me
up to.
that.
Like,
I'm intrigued by this pirate song.
let's see, when did this song came?
Is
I
it
don't
rated
know.
R?
Here, let's just. I don't know. Is this the official music video?
He's on fire.
Wait. I guess if you
Dalton,
type
can you
in-
answer my question? Dalton, can you please answer my question?
What was your question?
it
Is
is
it
rated
rated-
R.
Oh yes, yeah, it is rated R. Yep.
We have switched gears, folks.
I guess.
so
I guess this is
stupid.
the. Yeah. This. I guess.
Don't
he
be
took it down.
selfish. Play it.
I guess he took it down off his.
I'm on
official
the I'm on the
channel.
selfish diet.
He took the gay pirate song,
I
but
think he took it down off his official channel now that he's all Hollywood. But this is what the guy from Shogun was up to like 10 years ago. So check this out.
This is before Brokeback Mountain, right?
Yes.
This is Aviation.
This is after Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, it is. All right.
The start of this isn't that dissimilar to his Soul and Shogun.
So you guys see what's happening so far, that these are either pirates or possibly privateers, some kind of contracted workers on a ship.
They're trying to
just-
rape each other.
Well, no,
Anally.
due to circumstances, the narrator, Cosmo Jarvis, who's singing the song, has fallen for one of the mates on the ship, a fellow by the name of Sebastian. But their love is kind of
hold on. Sebastian?
Wait, isn't he the crab from Little Mermaid? See, like he just the little
Under the sea.
fuck me and my pussy, boy. Fuck
The
me and my
seaweed is
pussy,
always
my
greener.
pussy.
in somebody else's lake.
Hey, under the sea. Under the sea.
So yeah,
Down where it's wetter. Down where it's wetter.
yeah, we don't
I am
like that.
Jamaican. You could
You
not
guys
get
get the
away
gist
with
of it.
this. In
I just-
2020.
I just like to
I was
point out
intrigued.
that that video, like the very beginning
Yeah.
of it, him just being like abused, like is exactly what it's like at the beginning of Shogun with his character.
Yes.
Like they basically take him off the ship and they're like, "Oh, white boy!" Like you know, like and just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
just treating him like a whole They just,
I
Yeah.
never thought about how fucking black that crab in Little Mermaid is. That's crazy.
You
Hey
said
Yeah,
there,
that,
Bossy
right?
boy. What's going
And-
on?
I
He's
thought he was
extremely
Jamaican black
Jamaican.
dude.
Harry,
Yeah.
what you mean? I know he had no chirp.
Bro,
You know
McLeod.
You know what I love is that the original Little Mermaid. There's a song in it where like basically like Sebastian is like wandered into the kitchen. The French chef is trying to kill him, and he's singing about killing fish. And he's like, "Le poisson, la poisson." It's this whole ridiculous song. But like I watched the live action Little Mermaid, and I wasn't angry about Ariel being black. I was angry about two things. One, they fucking took out the Le Poisson song.
Being black.
I don't give a shit. Like I was so angry because they took the Le Poisson song out. It was so funny because the guy's literally just like fucking like chopping up fish and trying to kill him, and it's great. And then the second thing is that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote a new song for it where Scuttle is like singing to Ariel about.
I actually heard that song. It was awful. It was
so
fucking bad.
It's terrorism for your ears. Like
about?
you literally like I don't believe
it was Aquafina too. It was Aquafina.
Yes.
It was like the worst. It was like it was the most 2016 bullshit ever. It was like Lin-Manuel Miranda and Aquafina doing a Black Little Mermaid song. I was like, oh my god,
it was so bad.
Let's leave this with a BuzzFeed era where it should and it should never cross anywhere else.
Dude, I tell you what, I'm not a fan of this Hamilton revisionism that's happening online where people.
Well, you're a fan of all ham.
I do like ham, and especially John. What a cutie, big penis.
He does have a big
Happy
penis.
Pride Month, everybody.
I tell you what, man. You know what? You were talking about shows.
And by the way, I just want to say there's nothing wrong with having a small penis.
There's nothing wrong with having a small penis.
Nope.
That I've been watching that John Hamm show on Apple TV Plus.
All I can think about is Drew trying to hit on that chick. And
I
she
know,
checks out his
so
Twitter.
funny. So for context,
yeah,
Avens. A friend of ours was hitting on a girl, like Daddy Horbucks, Drew, and then he was like, "Why didn't she respond to me?" And then the first tweet that he had was he was quote tweeting something about like some study about having a small penis, and his caption was, "There's nothing wrong with having a small penis." And she looked at the tweet, and I was like, "Drew, the only reason you would tweet that is if you had a small penis." So, like, no wonder she didn't respond to you.
Yeah, so in camaraderie,
so check your profile.
I decided to do like, stand up and be like, I have a small penis. I have a small penis.
I was like, why is
hold on. In Drew's defense, if you go to this girl's Twitter, it's so much more insane than that.
That is true.
Her most recent tweets are way worse than that.
Yes, but at the time, it was very funny that he was like, "Why didn't you respond?" He's like, "Drew, look at your first two tweets." and the other tweet, and the second to last tweet was, "I thought Fartcoin was the future of crypto."
It is. He's not wrong about that. He
might not be wrong. That the future is,
Fartcoin is beating the U.S. dollar right now.
But at the time he posted his bank account, he was like, or not, it was some kind of like doomer, like
so he's broke. He
spent all the it insinuated he spent all of his money on Fartcoin.
I think he did. I think he bought Fartcoin at the time. He bought it at the top,
all time high before
Fartcoin bought it at
crashed.
like 90 cents.
Buy high, sell low.
And it did like 30 cents, and he was like, "I thought Fartcoin was gonna be the future of crypto," and I'm like,
I know.
You gotta wait for an entry. So you can't.
But that's what was. I mean, but that was what's so funny. It's like, Drew, she checked your profile, and you look like a guy with a small penis who spent all of his money on Fartcoin.
That'll never not be funny to me. Yeah, this is not the Drew that was here earlier. This is another. That's why
I love Drew.
I see.
So.
Drew Flores. Shout out
Drew
to
Flores
Drew.
is like that. Yeah.
We are racist. Nick. Don't
Sorry,
do that.
That was
Don't
the wrong
one. Drew, Drew's got a gun.
This whole time I thought they were talking about you, Drew, and now I know it's a different Drew.
Drew, your mic's on mute. Drew,
Drew,
we can't hear you, Drew. You're muted.
Your microphone back on. You're on mute.
We should dub him. Like, we should just make up what he's saying.
Death to America. Is that? Drew looks awesome right now.
Yeah, dude. He always shows up with the, first.
He has a very Hunter S. Thompson thing going on right now.
Yeah,
no, he's Connor O'Malley. He's every Connor O'Malley.
I do get a little bit nervous.
That was the funniest
when he's
thing
got his gun out and he's drunk, but
I feel like Drew is becoming more Connor O'Malley since I pointed that out.
That really made Drew make sense when you posted that he is Connor O'Malley. He is a Connor O'Malley character. What, Drew?
I think he might be me.
That is a possibility.
Connor O'Malley? I don't even know if Connor O'Malley is a real person. He might be a slut.
Okay, your microphone's not working.
All right.
Should I text my ex?
Yes, Robbie, you should. That's always a good idea.
Yeah. You should like one of her photos from like 3 years ago on Instagram first, and then text her.
And then I'll text her happy birthday because it's my birthday.
Yes, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, dude.
Just text your ex Happy Pride Month and see how that goes.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so I have doubled my money on straight coin. Should I sell or keep letting it ride?
It is Pride Month. What are you gonna do?
I think I'm gonna let it ride, dude, because I got good positions in some other things, and I think straight coin might be the future of crypto.
But wait a minute. So hold on. You can't be proud of being straight during Pride Month.
No, I guess I don't know, dude. Straight coin is pumping right now, dude. I bought it at a $300,000 market cap. It's up to 700,000.
Let's get a poll of the chat. Do you guys think Caitlin Clark is hot?
Sure.
Yeah, I like it too.
I don't know. Sometimes I see her and yes, and then her personality is good, so yes, and then other times
she's cool.
I see her,
she seems like she's cool, you know.
Other times
I like that she's competitive.
What's the blonde girl that Raz is on?
Cameron Brink.
Cameron called her Inspector Gadget the other day. When she's in the room, it's really hard, like because she draws all the attention.
Caitlin Clark's so good at basketball.
She is good at basketball.
And I'm Cameron Brink.
I don't know who's dressing her though.
No. You're thinking, I wish you would. Hold on. I wish you would, Cameron from the Brink, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love
the
Cameron
WNBA.
Brink. Everyone, check out Straight to Cam, Cameron Brink's podcast. She tells a lot of great stories on there.
Check out Cam's
Wait, do you watch a WNBA podcast? Is that
I do watch Straight to Cam from time to time, starring Cameron Brink.
Maybe you want to log off before you say anything that might have been
only because she hosts with Steph Curry's sister, and I'm a huge Steph Curry fan.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
And also, I think Cameron Brink is beautiful.
Everything you say to me.
I said one step closer to the edge.
Does the WNBA podcast get more viewers than the WNBA itself?
Honestly, it might. It literally, the podcast might get, the clips definitely get a ton of.
that actually.
Did you see that Caitlin Clark got injured for 2 weeks and the ratings went down like 80%?
Yeah. Oh, she's just so good. It's crazy. I could just sit there and watch clips of her playing. And
she's
the
an
bad
incredible
part is
shooter.
though, like the Angel Reese haters are just making the exact opposite. They're making clips of her where anything she does that's bad, every travel, every bad layup, they just link those.
It is funny that the only time Anthony Cumia chimes in on sports at all is about Angel Reese. It's like, why do you? Okay, Anthony. I don't think it's about sports. That's why you care about this person.
No, he's become a caricature of what he once was.
Cumia?
Yeah, Cumia.
Yeah. Why?
My Cumia.
My Cumia. Yeah. Hey, how about that new King of the Hill?
I have watched that intro probably like 100 times, and I've really been dissecting it.
I'm on board. I thought that intro was. Pull it up.
It's all grown ups.
You know what? I was like because I'm scared. I'm fucking scared about this show coming back.
It makes me think that Mike Judge had a reason to bring it back, you know?
Yeah, because the intro, the new theme, it got me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got kind of emotional.
It was emotional. And,
I was like, dude,
you got emotional during a King of the Hill.
And also, preview. I thought it was insanely skillful how much story they told without like saying a single line of dialogue, and it was just in the song.
I better cry if I don't cry when I watch this.
It's really well done.
I'm not joking. When I watch,
I'm gonna watch the reboot now, and I thought it was
when they dropped this a couple days ago, and I watched it for the first time. It was like a similar feeling to like seeing a family member I haven't seen in years.
And also call us Glass Onion, because when it came to this reboot, our knives were out. We were not stoked
I
on
have
this.
been so wary of it since they announced it. I've been like, man, do not. Man, don't even touch this show because it's like it's.
But it
so
seems
good.
like it's like this theme song's like, oh wow.
This really restored my faith in Mike Judge, and
only Mike can judge me.
only Mike.
I only saw people retweeting old Bobby, or like teenage Bobby or whatever.
Teenage
Bobby.
Mutant Ninja Bobby.
So it's the same show years later. I'm taking it.
It's yes.
Okay.
So,
Dave, hey, how about you relax? Just watch.
Yeah.
I like to see this.
I'm
I'm trying to vamp why producer Dalton.
So
Dalton, what the fuck is taking so long?
All right, fine. We'll walk here. We'll go. I'll fill everyone in after. Let's just go ahead and watch it.
Did I see blackface?
Oh, look at him. He's all grown up.
I also love great detail. He kept the blink right before, like not on beat, like right before the end.
Oh yeah, man.
I can see why
getting choked up again, dude. Bobby's
the COVID masks and time passing.
And also,
I can see.
I think it's just so like I watched it a bunch of times, and there's so much story just in that little thing. Like, Hank moves out, a black guy moves in. There's COVID. It's like, oh my god, it's really well done.
And did you notice, like, when they're moving out, Bill is crying, and then when COVID, like right before COVID hits, Bill is the one coughing, and then he disappears, and everybody's wearing masks.
Oh.
So, looking at grown-up Bobby there, or like adolescent Bobby, I can't help but see a young Dalton in that.
Yeah,
it does look. Are you looking at him thinking that was me?
That my whole childhood,
dude. And did you see the synopsis? It was like Bobby's fulfilling his dreams working in a restaurant in Dallas.
Yeah, because my whole childhood was
replace that with hyenas in Fort Worth, and that's Dalton.
I was Bobby Hill. Like when the show was on originally, everybody was telling me I was Bobby Hill. Like I've did my whole life. I've been Bobby Hill. So
and now as an adult,
yeah, be Bobby Hill again, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
It looks like as an adult you are still Bobby Hill.
Yes. And so, but yeah, I don't know if people remember that, like throughout the run of King of the Hill, Bobby wanted to be like Carrot Top. He wanted to be a prop comic. And then at the very end of the show, like I think the series finale, they discover that he has like a natural talent for and a love for grading cuts of meat, like beef. Like he wins like some competition where they like grades meat. So that's like
pause.
How you gonna grade meat?
Yeah, it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.
So that's how King of the Hill ends. Is like Bobby and Hank had bonded many times before that, but it ends on this really nice note where they're bonding over this newfound talent that Bobby has for recognizing good cuts of beef. And then it ends with them grilling steaks together. And that's 2009, I think.
Is that when you shed a tear?
Which, by the way, 09 does feel like the last pure year in American history.
Yes.
Like it's right before social media kind of like ruined everything.
Yeah, and so I did shed a tear when King of the Hill ended because I didn't want to see it go, but it was a really beautiful moment between Bobby and Hank. But then, yeah, when
that's what you said. It as soon as it ended, Dalton went.
Yeah, I mean, when they announced it was coming back, I was like, this rarely ever works.
No, wait, when you heard it was coming back, you're like, oh, because you had made your peace with it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, these revivals rarely ever work.
King of the Hill ends. Dalton goes, oh, all right. Lives his life. King of the Hill's back. Oh,
I've been in the Black Lodge.
God damn it! I was
God
watching
damn it.
Common. I was watching Common Side Effects.
I like
Bobby?
that too. Ovens, you're Madam Mushroom. Have you seen Common Side Effects?
Huh? Oh, is that that show about like the mushroom thing, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
I have not. It's actually on my list. It's like the next
gotta
thing that I
watch
watch.
it.
it's hella good. It's hella good.
It really. What Mike Judge
I
is
have
a
one
genius.
note for it. I think that PETA should be in it.
PETA should be in it.
But other than that, it's a really good show.
Mike Judge is a genius because he's really good at just like subverting.
He's great. He puts in a really good performance in that show.
He's good at, but the show itself, like going into it, I thought it was gonna like hit the same beats of. I thought I was gonna guess all the archetypes and the plot and who these characters are, and nothing that's happened in the show has been predictable or followed like the sort of blueprint that I've come to expect from a show like that.
Right.
It's been surprising. It just the way the characters develop and how none of them are like. Even like Mike Judge's character, which at first you think is going to be this dipshit
Hank Hill.
So yeah, this like no, not even Hank Hill. That character, Common Side Effects, that pharmaceutical CEO. At first, I thought was going to be like this dipshit, only cares about money, incompetent.
Just do what you gotta do. Yeah.
But he ends up that character ends up having a lot more depth than I was expecting. Like where he does become kind of a sympathetic character. Like his motivations.
I thought he was always a sympathetic character. He was like kind of just like a company man, even though he was like the chief.
Right.
Like it's obviously he wasn't doing evil. He was always like
show. I can't find it.
But
yeah.
What really impressed me is that character. Like at first you think is going to be like a dunce.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up being like smarter than I thought he was going to. Like it turns out he does actually know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he does have good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a much more well-rounded.
It's about the failure of bureaucracy.
Well, I've never even seen clips of this show.
It is such a.
It's really good. It's a hidden gem.
It's a sleeper hit, dude. Because you think going into it,
I only know about it because they really advertised it during basketball. I've never seen it during any advertised during anything else.
Dude, going into it, I thought it was going to be like an Adult Swim kind of like comedy type show. Dude, it's like a thriller. It's like Michael Clayton.
It's like King of the Hill, where it's like a realistic animated thing that happens to be funny.
Yeah, but it's also it's not that. I mean, there's funny moments, but like most of the show is like this very like tense corporate thriller.
No, the funniest part is just Mike Judge's voice.
Yes.
Oh, we're in a corporate thriller.
But yeah, I'm excited for King of the Hill to come back. I mean,
God damn it, Bobby! This is a giant. This is a Southland Tales-esque pharmaceutical conspiracy.
Rest in peace, Tom.
I'll sell oxycodone and oxycodone accessories.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Also,
Hardwick.
Oh yeah, rest in peace,
voice
Chris
of
Hardwick.
Dale. But apparently, I read the synopsis for the new King of the Hill.
Hold on, Little Goblin wants to hear Peter and Hank converse.
Oh, hey, Peter. God damn it, Peter. I'm Hank. Oh, I thought you were Peter.
There you go, Little Goblin.
That's fun.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
I think that's what everybody wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the synopsis though, and the synopsis also gave me more faith in the show because apparently. Apparently this is.
Wait, can I ask our guest? Can I ask our guest something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Aven O'Brien. Do you think Shaq and the General are friends in real life?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But only when Shaq is on shrooms.
Oh man, that's kind of a bittersweet answer.
Yeah.
I don't like that he has to be fucked up to be friends with the General.
I'm looking at the anime on this Common Side Effects. It's pretty cool too. It's pretty good art style.
Yeah, but apparently in real life, they have this thing in because there's like in Saudi Arabia they'll have American contractors go out there to work for like oil and natural gas and stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently they have in Saudi Arabia for these jobs that these contractors take because they got to live there for however long. they build like a replica of an American suburb in Saudi Arabia. So these contractors will go out there to work for however many years, and the whole time they're living in a simulation of an American suburb that is in Saudi Arabia. So apparently the new King of the Hill is that at some point after Bobby graduates high school and Hank and Peggy are living, he's off doing whatever, Hank takes this job to go do some propane thing in Saudi Arabia. So for the last 8 years, he's just been away working to save enough money so that him and Peggy can retire. So now apparently the show is them coming back to America, and they've missed all the woke and Trump and COVID and everything, and now they're coming back.
So there's no Peggy and Hank doing Sharia law or anything?
Maybe. I doubt it. Probably
That'd
not.
be cool. That'd be fun to watch. Just her being in America for the first episode, and then they have to come back to the United States.
This is. I mean, maybe it may not be true, but this is what I read on the official thing. That's the premise of the new show, is that Hank and Peggy have been living in Saudi Arabia for 8 years, while Bobby's working as a chef in Dallas. Oh, nice, Cunha. Anyway, folks, please subscribe to Patreon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
check out.
I'm gonna upload a new Patreon episode. Patreon.com/Cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Patreon.com/The Crowder Boys, the show I do here with Robbie and Crack and Miko. And then what else? Aven's does Mikeadelics, her mushrooms with Mike Tyson. Aven, show them the Mikeadelics.
Yeah, and that's at Advanced MYCO on Twitter and Instagram.
Mushroom grow bags. We have liquid culture, and then I didn't even talk about it, but also we have these are little chewable tablets that create the effects of mushrooms, but the product is a chemical called Pitocin, and so it's an analog of psilocybin, and it's fantastic. That's actually what I'm going to take in an hour or so.
Ooh.
So, nice, folks, if you're looking for legal gray areas and loopholes,
I'm a girl.
I would love some.
What's the website people can go to?
Advancedmyco.com. So advanced and then MYCO for mycology. So advancedmyco.com.
Advancedmyco.com. Sure. Mikeadelics.
Advanced Micah Fox.
Micah Fox. Micah. Mike
Racine.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's the show, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
I love you.
Send Robbie money is Dalton Pruitt.
Oh, and if there's any ladies watching, please have sex with me.
No, Robbie, it's gay pride. It's Pride Month. You gotta.
Or men. If there's any men watching too.
Or trans.
Yeah, I forgot it's Pride Month.
Furries.
We saw that. We thought you, from your pictures there, your friends on the West Coast. We thought you were going to come back with stories. Everybody was going crazy for the blonde in that photo with you guys.
What?
You posted that photo with your friend from the West Coast, I thought.
Me?
Yeah, on your Twitter. It's probably all stand-ups or whatever. You don't want to talk about it?
Oh, Sarah Barnyard. No, yeah, that's East Coast. It was in New York.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's Sarah Barnett. She's a New York comedian.
We're gonna end with this. Drew Huntley says, "Robbie, it's Pride. You have to talk to
me." I guess those are the rules, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Ending the stream. It's ending.